It's October 10th on the Metro Conference from Hart Park in Wauwatosa. Thomas More Cavaliers against the Marquette Hilltoppers. Thomas More with a quick kick by Paul McShane, and John Quinlan picks it up. His starts his romp down the left sideline at Hart Park. The blocking appearing in front of him. Looks like Tom Bishop, the quarterback who pitched that one out, is going to get him. He doesn't. And Quinlan out in the open, finding a clear open shot down to the goal line to take it all the way, 80 yards on a punt return. John Quinlan taking it in for Marquette's only score on that day, October 10th, as both teams were coming into that game with 3-0 marks, undefeated in the Metro Conference. But Tom Bishop takes back to the airwaves. He finds Mike Seidel on the right sideline, complete. He takes it down that sideline, picks up 15 yards before getting that offense going. And Marquette had trouble as Moore won that game 19-7 and on its way to a Metro Conference title. Hi, everybody. I'm John Bartell. Working with me tonight is Tom Mashesky. We are back here at Hart Park for a game which will decide one of the finalists in the Class A WISAA tournament coming up next week. Tom, you had a chance to see both Thomas More and Marquette earlier this year. Thomas More won that game that they played earlier this year, 19-7. Thomas More is an awful overpowering team.
They are, but so is Marquette. That score, 19-7, is somewhat deceptive. That game was an evenly fought contest, and the defense really decided that game. Two big plays, one by Marquette, a return of a quick kick for a touchdown, and then Thomas More broke it open with a reception that they returned for a touchdown. That was the go-ahead score that kept Thomas More ahead. Now, Thomas More has an outstanding quarterback in Tom Bishop. Most of the time when Thomas More is in trouble, he's the guy that they go to, and he has a tremendous throwing arm. He's tremendously accurate. They have a good fullback in Sam Gilberto. They love the fullback trap. That's their bread and butter running play. On the other hand, they have to go against a strong Marquette defense, and they've got one of the biggest offensive and defensive lines we're going to see in high school football. Dave Wanta, 6'2", 225 pounds. He's the stalwart in their defensive line. He's also assisted by the linebacker, Anthony, who leads the team in tackles. They've got an outstanding run defense, and I think Thomas More is going to have to try to establish a run to complement the pass to make the pass more effective tonight. On the other hand, Marquette, they're primarily a run offense. Their quarterback, Jelastic, he's got to open it up a little bit more tonight. He's got to find his receivers. That's going to complement their run and make their run offense just a little bit better.
Both of them very well-coached teams, and it means a lot, of course, going into the Class A finals.
That's true. And there's a couple of keys tonight. You know, which team plays with the least amount of mistakes, mental mistakes, physical mistakes, the team that creates the big plays offensively and defensively, and the kicking game. Evenly fought contest, that can be the deciding factor tonight.
Talk about the kicking game. Andy Gates, one of the fine kickers in the area. He has kicked for a long one of 37 yards already for Thomas More this year, so you watch out for him. Well, we're going to be joining you in just a moment for the starting lineups and the kickoff of tonight's game, so stay with us here on Sports 36. Live from Charles Hart Park in Wauwatosa, Sports 36 brings you coverage of the 13th annual Wisconsin Independent School Athletic Association State Football Tournament. Tonight, it's a Class A semifinal between the Thomas More Cavaliers and the Marquette Hilltoppers. And we're glad to have you with us on this cold night. A beautiful night for football, though, from Hart Park in Wauwatosa. About 35, 36 degrees here at game time. No wind tonight. That will not be a factor. The field in excellent condition. And Tom Mashesky, these teams are ready for tonight.
About as ready you can be. You know, this is the one they've been looking forward to, especially since the earlier game this year. I know I talked to Quinlan right after that game, and he said, you know, we'll get them next time. So they're thinking about this game. And, of course, Thomas Moore's been here before. The last 2 years, they've been beaten by a team that they have beaten in the regular conference. So
Waukesha Memorial.
This is kind of like a nemesis type of thing with them. They want to come here now and disprove that.
Let's take a look at what Marquette did this year to get to this playoff game. They started off non-conference with a couple of games, beating Sussex Hamiltons, which was one of the powers in the Braveland Conference this year. They walloped Wisconsin Lutheran. They went on to beat Mesmer, Pius 11, and Waukesha Memorial. Then they came up, met Thomas More, as we said, 19-7. They lost to them. But they came right back to beat St. Joseph's, St. Kate's, and Milwaukee Lutheran, and they're pretty much on a roll coming into tonight. Thomas More, here's the way their season has looked. Their one loss, you look about all the way on the bottom there, Joliet Catholic Central in Illinois, the top team in Illinois this year. They lost 20-15, a game that Jim Haluska said we should have won. And beating Marshfield Columbus, one of the other teams, in the semifinals tonight. And they're playing tonight. We'll tell you about that game later on. But they beat Marquette 19-7, beat a tough Pius team very easily, I thought. So Thomas More has got something to prove in the playoffs here tonight, I think, after losing those two, as you pointed out, Tom, last 2 years to Waukesha Memorial. They have not lost in the regular season for, what, about 3 years now?
3 years exactly. I think it's 27 straight games.
And so they have something to prove. They were the state titleists in 1977 and 1976. Marquette, what in 1975?
1975.
So both of these teams know what it's all about. Peter Jelasic ready to kick it off to a couple of players for Thomas More. Deep to receive. One of the players back there is number 22, Sam Gilberto. And I believe that's Mark Kopensky, number 33. Make that Mike Zidell, number 31. The other deep receiver. And so here's the kickoff. As the start of this one, it's a short kick coming down about the 20. This is Zidell with it. He is tripped up and taken down right away by number 20, Mike Cafaro for Marquette University Hilltoppers. Let's need the Thomas More offense now. Well, we won't meet them just now. We'll have them introduce themselves later. They're too busy getting ready for this first series of downs. The quarterback is Tom Bishop for the Cavaliers of Thomas More. He'll pass on first down, almost intercepted. Number 31, Dan Gilbert, breaking it up out there, but that pass overthrown, intended for number 20, Paul McShane. Taking to the airwaves right away, Tom. They got a powerful ground game. Let's take that offense now for Thomas More. They're all set.
Tom Bishop, quarterback, senior. Kurt Patel, tackle, senior.
Ron Linsmeyer, offensive guard, senior.
Dave Grabowski, offensive center, senior. Paul McShane, flanker, senior. Mike Liddell, halfback, senior. Sam Grudo, fullback, senior. John Cavanaugh, guard, senior. Tom Naparella, tackle, senior. Chris Schmidt, tight end, senior. Ray LeBecki, tight end, senior.
Back to live action. You met the Thomas More offense. Offense hasn't had anything going yet as Tom Bishop on 2nd and 10 looked for a deep receiver, but Gilbert was right there for Marquette to make sure that the receiver was out of bounds before he even could catch that one. Marquette defense, very strong in their own right, Tom.
Yeah, like I said before, they've got one of the biggest lines we'll see defensively in high school football. So far, they started in more of a pass defense, 4-4, and Thomas More has come out throwing the ball. I think, like I said, they need to establish the ground attack.
Over centers number 51, Dave Grabowski. Bishop back to pass on 3rd and 10. He's got a man out there. Over the hands as the man, it hit his hands. And incomplete. And let's take a look at the Marquette defense, keeping them tight here.
Dave Wanta, senior, tackle. Bob Tomlinson, senior, defensive end. Bill Krause, senior, defensive back. John Quinlan, senior, free safety. Dan Gilbert, senior, defensive back. John Casey, senior, strong safety.
Joe Pickard, senior, linebacker.
Scott Anthony, senior, linebacker.
Chris Zelmer, senior, defensive end. Dave Hasselbein, senior, nose guard.
Tom Kleinberg, senior, defensive tackle.
Defense for Marquette held, and it's a 4th and 10 now for the Cavaliers of Thomas More. They got to punt it away. It's a short kick coming down at the 45 at Marquette. Thanks to Thomas More bounce before rolling down, and it will be down at about the 38-yard line of Marquette, where the Hilltoppers will take over from there. Well, Marquette offense will be coming out on the field now, and they have got a strong team. We know that. Their only loss, as we said, to Thomas More. And here's Peter Jelasic at quarterback. You'll see Tom Clark at the fullback. John Casey at one halfback. We'll double-check the one on Clark. The receivers, Gilbert, Bilda, and Quinlan. And the line, Wanta, Tomlinson, and the rest of the crew down there for the Hilltoppers. And they have it 1st and 10 now at their own 38. The run split up the middle on 1st and 10, number 44, Joe Pickard. We kind of thought he might start in the place of Clark. Clark suffered a sprained ankle in practice earlier this week. So Pickard carrying the ball that time. Number 44, Joe Pickard, 5'10", 185 senior. As you look at Dick Basham in his 10th year as head coach of the Marquette Hilltoppers. Fine teams along the way. All right, the quarterback is Peter Jelasic. Hands off, and Pickard again, this time not much as he gets it across the 45-yard line. Now they're going to mark it back. Just trying to keep it honest right now. Take it right to the ground. Thomas More defense. Hockey. It's Brattel rather than Bartel. Ochalik, Kwiatkowski, Malashevsky on the front line. The linebackers are Sam Gilberto and Mark Kopensky. And the defensive backfield, you got McShane, Baker, McShane, and Morello. So the brothers back there. For the Cavaliers, it's 3rd and 5 now for the Hilltoppers. Little misdirection. Man's got some yardage, and he's got a first down for Marquette. And carrying the ball coming around the end is number 82, Chris Bilda.
John Bilda, throughout the year, as many games as I've seen Marquette play, about 4 games this year, when they need a big play, they go to him, either passing the ball or they run that reverse. That time he should have been hit for a loss, and he broke the tackle, picked up the first down, and good effort.
They're inside Thomas More territory, 1st and 10 on the 48 of the Cavaliers. Again, it's Jelassic, the quarterback. Got his back foot behind him, hand off to the first man through. 44 is Pickard, picks up a couple of yards. They're content to keep it on the ground, grind it out. Have not taken it to the air yet. They're shuttling in the plays. Coming out, number 18, Bill Krause, and in is number 24, John Quinlan. There's your mentor, Jim Haluska, the head coach at Thomas More in his 10th year. It's a little cool night.
Oh, longer than that. This is about his 22nd year now.
They take it straight ahead, but there is a flag on the play. Running was Pickard once again. And let's see who the call is. Looks like it was against Thomas More, yes.
Well, right now, Marquette's building up momentum, and this could be very important in the ball game. I think the team that establishes momentum early, that scores first, is going to have a big edge in this ball game.
So Marquette will get it marched off in their favor and make it a 1st and 10. We're just inside the first quarter of play at Hart Park. Class A final in the semifinal. The WISAA face mask is the call. Let's look at it again. Watch Picker, number 44, right there. And that was number 33, Mark Kopensky, coming up from his defensive back position. Called for that face mask call. So 1st and 10 for the Hilltoppers. They're starting to move the ball. And off to the second man, number 43, John Casey. He slammed back. John Cavanaugh with the tackle that time for the Cavaliers.
Number 77 in the picture there is Greg Ochalik. He's their mainstay on defense. He plays right over the center, and he makes a lot of big plays. You see him coming into the play, making a hit there. Actually, he's assisting on the tackle, but he's around that ball just about every play.
Ochalik, one of the bigger players, 6 foot 190. Thomas More, not a real big team as such. They played against a lot of bigger teams, but they're able to do well with what they've got.
Well, they do a couple of things very well.
There's Jelassic. He's got a man open, down deep, complete, no! Oh, I thought he had that one. Down deep, he had a man open. Number 31, Dan Gilbert. And he was obviously battling the ball as he was taking it down. Didn't have possession when he came down.
A little play action fake to freeze the defensive halfback, and Gilbert snuck out from his tight end position, ran a flag pattern. He used his body very well. He leaps well, and he shielded the defensive man from the ball. Almost came up with a super catch.
Crowd trying to stay warm here at Hart Park. The temperature in the 30s. It's dipping down there tonight, but a beautiful night for football. So it's a 3rd and 11 now for the Hilltoppers. Now we got some movement on the line from the 30-yard line, and it's going to be against the Cavaliers.
Yeah, right now Marquette, they really don't have to worry about making it all on 3rd down here. They're in 4th down territory. They're inside their own 30, so if they don't pick up the first down, they've got one more down to go for it.
Thomas More hurting themselves right now with the penalties now. It's about 3 of them so far here in the first quarter.
Well, John, when you were talking about a lack of size, I was about to comment that defensively what they do is they stun a lot. They're very quick, and generally this is what creates some big plays for them.
Over the ball, Phil Biermeister for Marquette. Gets the snap. It's right ahead by Jelassic. They'll pick up a couple of yards. He needed 6 for the first down, but I think it's short.
All right, John, on replay, watch the tremendous splits that the guard is taking. And as a result, the quarterback has a big hole there to quarterback sneak. They're trying to spread out the Thomas More defense and take advantage of those big splits in the line.
Jelassic losing his shoe on there, so they'll take a moment.
Well, John, we're faced with a very critical down here. It's 4th and 1. Thomas More needs to stop this rush because now this will put them inside the 20. On the other hand, Marquette, they've got the momentum going. They've got to sustain this rush.
Saw Jelasic's stats of the season. Not many yards rushing, but he's let his running backs do the job, and he's done a good job through the year so far. Peter Jelasic. His brother played here earlier this year. I think he had two brothers that played for Marquette along the way on a pitch out. This is Casey, number 43. And Casey gets some yards, and I think he's got the first down. Let's see. Yes, he does. He needed two. He got that and then some.
Again, excellent running by Casey over here. But Marquette went to an extremely long count that time. I think they were trying to pull Thomas More off defensively, pick up 5 yards the easy way. There he picked it up on his own. Good effort.
Casey did a good job to tackle number 66, John Cavanaugh. 1st and 10 now, 7:20 left in the first quarter. And the ball down about the 14-yard line of Thomas More. They try to run it straight through the middle, but not much that time. He ran into a stone wall. Joe Pickard, the running back that time, number 44.
And Marquette's doing it all on the run right now. Their offensive line, as big as they are, they're controlling the line of scrimmage, and they're trying to punch it right down the field.
We might see Tom Clark later. Clark, their starting running back, junior, sprained an ankle earlier this week, was on crutches most of the week. He's down on the sideline, but he's not in action yet. Get it to the outside. Casey finding a swarm of tacklers from Thomas More, including Otsalik. Also in on the tackle, number 76, Tom Naparella.
Almost looked like they would get the corner on the quick pitch, but you got tremendous reaction pursuit by the interior of that Thomas More defense, and as a result, they shut off that play for a little game.
All right. Fond du Lac, St. Mary Springs, and Marshfield Columbus also playing tonight in the other semifinal game here, the WISAA semifinals, and the winner play the winner of this game here tonight. So a big game for both teams. On the rollout, Jelassic looking for someone to pass it to. He's got a man out there, but a couple of Thomas More players, including number 43, Greg Baker there, to run interference. And good thing Jelassic didn't throw that a little bit straighter. That could have been picked off.
Well, Thomas More did an excellent job of covering the receivers, and I think that play took a little bit too long to develop. They're trying to sprint out and stretch out the secondary and create seams in the secondary, but it just took a little bit too long to get that corner and create that situation.
And so Thomas More has forced Marquette to kick it. Scott Anthony, number 53, the center, out to try a field goal from about the 23-yard line. The kick is up. This is way wide to the right and way short. Still, they'll respot the ball at the 20-yard line when they take it over again. So Marquette has a good drive, but they fall short. And Thomas More will take over 1st and 10 with 6 minutes left here in the first quarter of play.
Well, let's hand it to both the Marquette offense and the Thomas More defense on that series of downs. Tremendous efforts by both teams.
So it's Thomas Moore's ball once again. The quarterback still Tom Bishop, Sam Gilberto, and Mike Zeidel, the running back. This is Zeidel around the left side. He's got a big hole. Gets it up across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Good run by Zeidel before he's tripped up by number 24, John Quinlan.
Excellent call, and like I said, I think Thomas More has to establish the run. Here they get the corner on the quick pitch, and it's one man to beat. And watch the heck of a tackle, open field tackle that Quinlan makes. Quinlan was the star in that first game as far as Marquette's defense is concerned. There's another big play.
Credit some fine blocking by number 47, Chris Schmidt, and number 71, Chris Brattel. On that left side is Bishop on a keeper on the right side. Not much running room as he gets it up to the 40-yard line. And that's about where they're going to spot it right there. Bishop, not a real quick quarterback, but a very smart heads-up player.
Well, he's a strong kid, and he can pick up an additional 2-3 yards just with his strength. But this is a very wise series for them as far as what they've been calling here as far as the run. They need to make Marquette respect both the run and the pass.
Picked up 4 yards to the play, 2nd and 6. This is Sam Gilberto, and Gilberto slashes across to the 45, make it the 46 before he's brought down. Some good running straight up ahead. The tackle by Anthony for Marquette. Dick Basham talking to the folks upstairs on his headset. Fun guy to talk to, Dick Basham.
They're both super coaches and super human beings.
They've done excellent jobs along the way. There's Bishop now as Gilberto on 3rd and 1 looking for that 1-yard line, and looks like he has got it, yeah.
Not by much, John, but I think he did get it. Yes, now they've got excellent field position. They're close to the midfield around the 47-yard line. Now they can run anything they want. Now they want to open it up with a pass. At least they've got Marquette thinking about their run. They've established the run.
Tom, I saw Thomas More play Pius earlier this year, and in that game, Pius didn't get anything going in the first series. Moore scored first, but Pius came right back. But after that, Thomas More just settled down, and they showed what a class powerhouse team they are. Oh, here's a reverse.
Dazzle, dazzle.
A little flea flicker, it looks like. Bishop got a man out there, and it's almost intercepted by number 31, Dan Gilbert. That gave plenty of time for the Marquette defenders to get back there. And
Okay, we got a reverse and the lateral back to the quarterback. And look at the tremendous defensive reaction by the secondary Marquette. They had all 3 deep zones covered. There was nobody open. The ball's up there for either one of them to catch. Just exceptional defense.
Look at the royal blue jerseys back there. Gilbert was back there. Number 24, Quinlan was back there. And there was a Zidell almost at it, but what a bit short. 2nd and 10 now for the Cavaliers, and a fumble. But they fall right back on top of it. Zidell gets his own recovery.
Well, they tried a little razzle-dazzle, failed, and now a little bit of a breakdown, physical breakdown in execution of that play, and they find themselves in a hole. But remember, they have that quick kick. You never know when they might go to it. This might be the type of down, I don't think Marquette might be expecting it this early in the ball game, and yet you might be able to quick kick and try to get them inside their own 10-yard line. Field position is very important in this ball game.
You look along the sideline of the Marquette Hilltoppers. They got him now 3rd and 14, a big down for Thomas Moore. Bishop back, he's got time. He looks out on the right flat, almost intercepted. And that was Quinlan once again, or Casey, excuse me, John Casey. Casey's a little mad at himself for not picking that one off. He had a clear field ahead of him.
Like they say, sometimes it's too easy. Had he caught that one, it was just a foot race down the sideline. I don't know if Bishop was in a position to try to catch him. That probably would have been 6 points.
Ooh. He had his man out there. Wade LeBecki, number 82, was out there, so it brings up a 4th down to kick it away. Oh, this is a short kick again for Thomas Moore. Now it takes a good Cavalier bounce. It's taken and down right away by the Hilltoppers, and they'll take it 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
Good reaction by Quinlan. That's a kind of a chancy type of situation. But had he not grabbed that ball, I think it would have bounced another 10 to 15 yards and put Marquette down near their own 10-yard line.
That's it so far. About 3:15 left in the first quarter here at Hart Park. No score in the game between Marquette and Thomas More. Both teams, even if very honest, they're gaining some yards finally, but they're not going anywhere. They're seeing the middle of the field an awful lot.
Right now, it's more of a defensive ball game. You got to look for that big play, or you got to look for that mistake to turn this game around.
And off right up the middle, a good run, and it looks like a 1st down for number 44, Pickard. Joe Pickard with some good straight-ahead blocking by his line, including Scott Anthony, the center, and Bob Tomlinson and Dave Smith, the guards. Look at that hole.
Now, they caught Thomas Moore stunning a little bit, and as a result, once you make that block and catch them midway through their stunt, you're going to have one heck of a hole. And, of course, good, strong ball carrying over there.
Paul McShane on that stop the time by Thomas Moore. And they're going to have to measure this one as you look at the Hilltopper, the mascot, the Fighting Hilltoppers from Marquette University High School.
Right now, Marquette is controlling the line of scrimmage offensively, but when you have to drive that ball down the field 50, 60, 70 yards, the law of averages tend to catch up with you. I think it caught up with Marquette last time. And eventually you're going to have a breakdown of one sort or another, and that's going to halt your drive. That's why I think Marquette's got to open up a little bit. Of course, they almost did with that one pass that was almost good for a touchdown.
Marquette on the 1st and 10. Pickard finds a stone wall as he tries over right guard, and he is taken right down to the ground.
The last play, he gained 10 yards on that same play. Now to the other side, absolutely nothing. It's going to be that type of ball game, John.
It's been that way so far. Jamie Malashevsky on the stop that time, and I'll tell you, the Thomas Moore line is awful tough to run through if you try to take it right to him, but Marquette is finding some holes out there. Jelassic at quarterback once again on a 2nd and 10 from the 37. Pickard always finds himself blocked way back there.
John, in this replay, watch the block that 24 Quinlan puts on the defensive safety, the strong safety. He'll be cracking back to the inside on the sweep, and he just levels that defensive strong safety. Watch it. There it is. Boom. But also, let's give credit to number 48. He did a heck of a job because with his penetration, he forced that other blocker to belly back and the ball carrier to belly back, and as a result, that picked up almost nothing. In fact, they lost a yard.
Sam Gilberto came up with a tackle that one. And they get it on 3rd down, and Pickard with no running room. He barely got back to the line of scrimmage, might have lost a half a yard on the play. And that will bring up a 4th down and about 10 or 11 yards for the Hilltoppers.
That's a good play. When you're expecting pass, if you can hit that draw and bust it, it may pick up a 1st down. But the other thing is right now they have excellent field position, so they're not really giving anything up. If they can get a good punt and good coverage, they're going to put Thomas More back in the hole.
All right, they're back to kick it away. Marquette with a low line drive kick. It's taken by the Cavaliers. 40 is John McShane. McShane with some running room on the left sideline. He's got room, and oh, he stepped out of bounds at the 40-yard line, just about inside the 40-yard line, and McShane found that wall developing on the left side.
Well, right now that kicking game is beginning to be a factor in this field goal, and now this short punt and a good wall. You can see the picket line setting up, and he just runs out of territory. He's got 2 people to beat, and he's forced out of bounds.
Well, I'll tell you, the run backs are doing it so far, but both teams are giving them good field position. And here is Thomas More with a 1st and 10 and the ball at the Marquette 41-yard line. Gilberto in motion to the left sideline. Got a man-man split wide to the right. This is Idell with the ball, though. He picks up about 3 yards before he's taken out. Scott Anthony on the stop, number 53 for Marquette.
Now, both these defensive teams play a very similar defense. 52 with a Monster, and the Monster will go to the wide side of the field to strength. That time they motion away from Monster, and they're quick flipping, trying to get outside to the weak side. And that's an excellent play. If you can make that corner, you can pick up real good yardage.
Running out of time in the first quarter, 33 seconds left. 2nd down, 6 yards to go for the Cavaliers and Thomas More at the 38-yard line of Marquette. Bishop at quarterback. Hands off to the second man who's coming around. It's the wide receiver, 80, Mike Morello, who tried the right side and found it blocked off by number 44, Joe Pickard. Morello's brother, Brian, all-conference at Thomas More in basketball last season. So he probably lost about 1 yard on the play, so it'll be a 3rd down and 6.
Now the replay over here looks like this might be a big play, but watch big 77 Tomlinson kind of push those blockers back into the backfield there and then forces this ball carrier to go a little bit deeper than he has to. By the time he gets around the corner, his interference has been stripped down already.
And a 2nd out on the sideline, and a reporter down there, Adrian Sakowitz, with a report on things going on so far. Adrian?
John, much as we expected, a defensive struggle in this first quarter. Interestingly enough, the team, Thomas More, they were beaten by Joliet Catholic of Illinois earlier this season. Joliet Catholic is still the #1 rated team in the state of Illinois for Class 5A. So that was the first game, but this is a playoff game, and a lot can happen. First time down, Marquette didn't score on their drive, but they seem to be moving the ball a little bit better on the ground. Now back upstairs to you, John and Tom.
All right, Adrian, thank you. And he'll be reporting in with us with sideline reports throughout tonight's game. So as we change sides as the first quarter comes to an end, 3rd down, 6 yards to go. No score in this game between Thomas More and Marquette. This is Tom Bishop looking for a receiver on the right side. He's got a man on the right side. This is Gilberto. Open for big yardage, and he's knocked out at the 30, making it the 29-yard line.
Go, Dave!
Gilberto was wide open that time, Tom, and
Now,
he just took advantage of it.
Let me explain to you what happens now. They're attacking away from that strong safety, and what Marquette did was drop their defensive end off in pass coverage, but he ended up 20 yards downfield, about 10 yards deeper than he should have been. They just could not react back up.
Boy, Gilberto, not actually a speed merchant, but a great open field runner.
Oh, he's not a real fast kid in the 40 or 100, but he's quick in that 5, 10, 15-yard area.
So they got a 1st and down, a pitch out to Zidell around the right side. He'll pick up a couple of yards before he's taken down.
That pitch
Pickard
almost
on the
got
stop.
away from Bishop that time. It looked like it was a little bit behind, and those are difficult to handle when they're behind you. And again, you know, those are the types of mistakes that you worry about.
Coach Jim Hiluska is sending in the play with number 80, Mike Morello. And they'll alternate their receivers. And you see it's 2nd down as they mark the ball. 2nd down, 5 yards to go for the Cavaliers. They're down deep. Bishop on a keeper, scrambling for a couple of yards.
That's that strength I was talking about. That's a planned play. That's not a broken play. That's a quarterback counter. They're trying to get him inside the defensive tackle or defensive end. He broke a tackle, picked up about 2-3 yards on his own.
The passing stats for Tom Bishop, he's had a good season, over 50%, only 4 interceptions all year long, and all the passes he's put up. Here it's a 3rd down, 2 yards to go for the Cavaliers. Bishop hands it off left side. Carrying it for a couple of yards is Sam Gilberto.
This is WMT Milwaukee.
On the tackle, but it is a 1st down for Thomas More. Let's take a look from the end zone and see how the blocking develops for the Cavaliers here for Gilberto.
There again, you can see Anthony, number 53, the leading tackler, filling the hole. but the momentum of Gilberto picked up the first down.
Look across the way at the Thomas More fans. Good crowd here tonight at Hart Park. No score in the game. First down and goal from the 8-yard line. Bishop on a keeper. He's hit once. He's still on his feet. And finally taken down by number 82, Chris Bilda. Bob Tomlinson also helping on number 77, but Bishop just couldn't find anywhere to go.
Just a big defensive play from Marquette. I don't know if this was supposed to be a quarterback keeper or not. But had he handed the ball off to the dive man, it looked like there was a nice hole over that left guard.
That'll push him back 6 yards. Second down, 14 for the Cavaliers. And off go. Making the first snap through. Pass up and broke it up nicely. Well, credit that time, number 18, Bill Krause, coming up from his defensive back position to block off that one.
Watch the timing. The timing is perfect. There's no pass interference because that ball belongs to anybody who wants it. You can see both of them hit simultaneously trying to get that ball. Excellent defensive reaction.
They were looking for Wade Lebecki, number 82. Nothing there. We've got a timeout call by Thomas More's Cavaliers with 9:50 left in the first half. No score in this ball game.
All right, now that was a quick post pattern. I wouldn't be surprised to see one or two things this next time. They may go back to that post pattern and break it to the outside, fake the post pattern in and then go to the outside. The other thing is with that reaction by Krause that time coming to the inside, they may run an identical pattern, read him, and try to get a back out into the flat area, upfield on that defensive end, and try to put a one-on-one situation out there. Tomlinson, 77, he's about 235 pounds. He would have to cover either Gilberto or Zadell. That'd be a very difficult proposition.
Tom, I'm going to shift subjects as you look at the crowd here at Hart Park. Talk about a game you're going to be seeing tomorrow night on Sports 36. The game between Madison West and Greendale. The Panthers will be going in with an undefeated 10-0 record. Might be the last game of the year for Terry Shatsky. Well, we hope not for his sake.
Well, let's know. He's a good old South Side boy. Pulaski High School in 1962, and it's a big game for him.
So we'll tell you more about that throughout the night here on Channel 36. This is Bishop down, a third down, 14-yard line. Bishop with a strike, complete. And he is in for the touchdown. Thomas More getting on the board first here tonight. Let's take a look at that again.
Chris Schmidt. And they did exactly what I said they would do, except it wasn't a post pattern, it was a curl pattern. But the halfback had come out of the backfield to clear out that zone. You can see the reaction by number 48 coming in. He was covering the halfback out there, and that opened up that seam to the inside.
All right, Andy Gates on to attempt the extra point. Bishop holding. The kick is up. It is good. Good kick by Andy Gates, and it is Thomas More with their head coach Jim Haluska out on top, 7-0 over Marquette. Yeah, this is pretty much the way it started off in the game earlier this year. Marquette scoring first, leading 7-0. Marquette coming back in the second quarter. Then it was Thomas More all the way after that.
Well, Marquette right now, all they have to do is stick with their game plan. They were moving the ball well on the ground. I still think that they have to pass to open up the offense a little bit more, but they don't have to get away from their run game. They move the ball well up the field once. The big thing is now not to panic. 7 points is nothing. You can come back and score 7 points and tie this game up very easily.
Andy Gates will be ready to kick it off, but a 14-yard pass from Bishop to Schmidt. Chris Schmidt and Thomas More out on top here, 7-0.
This Andy Gates is capable of putting that ball in the end zone on a fly. And again, it would be important for Marquette to try to receive that and establish good field position.
Here's Gates' kick. It's a low liner, bouncing down to Marquette. Number 34 is Tom Clark, who we didn't think we'd see much of tonight, but he's out there now for the Hilltoppers. He suffered a sprained ankle earlier this week, but he's okay now. Thomas More scoring drive went 9 plays, covered 42 yards, took 3 minutes, 39 seconds of the clock, with the final strike coming from Tom Bishop to Chris Schmidt, a 14-yard pass to put Thomas More out on top, 7-0. We're at 9:28 left in the first half of this game at Hart Park. At quarterback, once again, is Peter Jelassic for the Hilltoppers of Marquette. And this is Clark seeing his first action on an offensive play tonight, picking up a couple of yards as they take it across the 30-yard line and up to about the 33.
Dick Basham might have been playing a little psychology here. he might have been keeping Clark just for that situation where you need a picker-upper in there, and this is an ideal situation.
Clark, a fine player. When he gets to the outside, he's got some great moves, great balance. He can do it. Coming around the right side. Number 31, Dan Gilbert. Not much that time.
Now, good play by 52 that time, defensive end. That's, well, let me check over here. I'm pretty sure that's Grabowski. No, that's Jamie Malashevsky. And he stayed home. He did his business. You know, anytime you see flow away, the defensive end has got to check for reverse or counters so that they don't get beat on the backside. And he did his job.
Third down, 4 yards to go for Marquette. At their own 35-yard line now. Jelassic, quarterback. Got a man right over the middle, and it's intercepted. Greg Baker with the ball. And Baker, he had a good punt return in the game earlier this year against Marquette, which set up a touchdown that time.
And that's probably about his 7th or 8th interception this year. He seems to be in the right place at the right time, and he's probably one of the smallest defensive backs out there, and yet he has a tremendous interception statistic.
What is he, 5'5", 140 pounds, but he uses all of it very well. So they'll turn the ball right around and back pick up 5 yards on it. Thomas Moore with the ball, 1st and 10, 7:55 left in the first half. Bishop on a turn in. This is Schmidt. The man in on the touchdown just before they're inside the 20-yard line of Marquette.
Now watch this now. And again, watch number 31 out of the backfield to complement this. He swings out. There's a fake to the fullback to freeze the linebackers. You got the left end running a quick lookie. Tremendous catch. Of course, he pays the price right there, too. But they're moving the ball up the field right now. And I believe that Marquette has taken a timeout. They've got to stop this particular drive. They can't let the game get away from them at this point.
That's right. If they let Thomas Moore get on the board here, Moore is the kind of team that does not like to give up too many points. They gave up, what, about touchdown, maybe 10 points a game this year.
Not only that, you know, you start when you score that quick, twice in succession, sometimes that has a tendency to get people to panic. And even though you shouldn't be panicking, sometimes you do. All right, so it's important that they don't score. The other thing is that Marquette, like I said, you know, is basically a run offense, and you don't want to play catch-up when you have to run.
As Bishop stats so far tonight, unofficially, 3 for 9 for 47 yards, including that 14-yard touchdown pass to Schmidt that we just hit on another one right before. It's a 1st and 10, 7:47 left in the first half. Bishop, Gilberto, and Zeidel as running backs. This is Zeidel on the left side, and oh, he is met and taken down.
Number 75, Cleaver. Cleaver just overpowered his blocker. And then we watch this on replay. Watch him as he deals with that offensive left tackle. He beats him soundly, fights off the back. Well, I guess we're not going to see it. He did an outstanding job. Okay, we get a chance to see it. You can see the offensive blocker on the ground there. He just overpowered him.
Zeidel's plan fell short quite quickly right there. And a quick pass out to the outside. It's complete to number 82, Wade Lebecki. They were just looking for that quick post pattern to the outside. A quick look in by Lebecki going for the first down, but they're going to be short of it by about 4 yards, it looks like.
Well, that's to take advantage now. The secondary of Marquette is backed off a little bit, and they're taking advantage of that quick hitch out there. It's just a time pattern. If you miss a tackle, you know, that can be 6 points.
Third down, 4 yards to go. We are down at about the 12-yard line now. A pitch out. This is Sam Gilberto, almost loses his balance. And that gives number 74 of Marquette, Dave Wanta, time to catch up and take him down.
Now this is actually a fullback sweep. They fake to the halfback and pitch, and he's got a man pulled out there. He loses his balance a little bit, but again, you see good defensive reaction by Tomlinson, number 77. He's fighting off a blocker and making the tackle at the same time. That's excellent defense.
6 minutes, 22 seconds left, and another big play coming up for Moore now with a 4th and 1 inside the 10-yard line. Bishop on a handoff. Oh, there's a hole over the left side for Gilberto. And it looks like he's got that. Yes, he does.
Okay, I think it was Lombardi said this is a game of inches. Just watch. It looks like this is going to be stopped in the backfield over there. There's a missed tackle just by inches, and as a result, he picks up the first down. Good, solid hit. Number 31 that time.
Dan Gilbert in on that stop. So, 1st and goal down at the 2-yard line, and the Cavaliers knocking on the door once again. Bishop at quarterback gets it to his first man around, Gilberto, and Gilberto is going to be pushed back.
Fullback off tackle. Yeah, fullback off tackle. And there's a missed block on the defensive end, number 82, Villa, at that time, and Villa just stuffs it right at the line of scrimmage.
Gilberto knowing he has 2 yards, but so does Marquette know that
You
very
notice
well.
one thing right now, they're running away from the side that Wanta and Tomlinson are on. And you got one guy that's 235 and another guy that's 225. And these guys are, you know, potential all-state and big-time college football players. You notice why they're going to the opposite side.
Lost a yard on the play, second and third. Quick pass over the middle, good, complete. And a touchdown to Lebecki. And Thomas More is on the board once again, now on top. 13-0 over Marquette.
Excellent call that time. It's kind of a gutsy call, but it's an excellent call. Watch the free safety, number 24. He's kind of, well, he reacts well. It's the cornerback that allows that man to get in the seam over. You can see number 18 over there kind of shrugging at his face mask.
Here's Gates with the extra point. No question about it. And he puts Thomas More out on top. 14-0 with 5:14 left in the first half of play.
Right now, Marquette needs somebody to provide leadership. As they go out now to receive that kickoff, somebody's got to get them together and rally them. You know, you got to talk to them and say, hey, we're down 14. Let's not lose it right now. We got 5 minutes before halftime. If anything, let's not give up any more points. Let's try to get some kind of a score.
They would need at least one score going into halftime, because if they go in 14-0, that's a little psychological, knowing you haven't put any points on the board in the first half of play. I want to remind you about something coming up this weekend. Marquette, which has had a great year sports-wise, last year's state basketball champ, will be playing Green Bay Premontre at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon in the private school state soccer tournament. So here they are in the semifinals in the football and having a great year soccer-wise, 15-1-1. Andy Gates all set to kick it off for the Cavaliers. His team out on top, 14-0. And Gates, look at the gloves that this guy's wearing. He wants to stay warm out there. This time it's a little higher. Coming down to Tom Clark once again. Clark up the center of the field, looking for a hole on the left side. Got a little bit of room, still on his feet. Across the 30 and out to the 33-yard line before being taken out. Let's move it down to Adrian Sakowitz on the sideline.
John, within about 4.5 minutes, Thomas Moore's offense has exploded for 2 touchdowns. More than anything else, it looks like the deceptiveness of quarterback Tom Bishop is just completely fooling the Marquette defense. We'll check that a little bit later on. Back up to you, John.
All right, Adrian, in that first game against Marquette earlier this year, Bishop was 6 out of 16, 4 interceptions, and only 72 yards passing.
Big part of that explosion, though, was that defensive pass interception. That's what got the offense going that second time.
So, first and 10, Jelasic under a lot of heat. He's snowed under. Oh, they were in there quick to get him, including Greg Ochalik, number 77. And Jelasic, looking for a receiver, couldn't find one, and he was sacked.
Well, that time they decided to throw on first down, and they haven't. And that's probably the best time to throw on first down. So now they are going to open it up a little bit. We'll have to see how much they go to the pass and how they try to complement the run and the pass game now.
Lost 7 yards on that play. Bring up a second down, 17 to go for Marquette. 4:33 left in the first half. Thomas More leading 14-0 out of the I formation now. Pitch out to the second man around, and no running room that time. Nowhere to go for number 43, John Casey, the 5'10 senior running back.
You got to give a lot of credit that time, not only to the defensive end on that side, Jamie Malashevsky, but also to the halfback, John McShane, number 48. He came up and he stuffed that play right on the line of scrimmage. You look like you got somebody hurt out there, John.
Got an official timeout, and number 34, Tom Clark, who had a sprained ankle earlier this week, holding his stomach area, maybe his ribs, as he was blocking on that last play for the Hilltoppers. He'll be attended to on the sideline over here. And we'll try to get a report from Adrian on his condition. Boy, some of these guys, they get through the whole season without an injury. Get into a game like this, they're really going all out for it. Jelasic down. Big play, 3rd and 17. And he has got nowhere to go. Ochalik, one of the tacklers back there. Also, number 52, Jamie Malashevsky, putting the hit.
Malashevsky's reaction is just tremendous at this time. On that down-the-line option, he's responsible for the quarterback, and he doesn't get suckered out. Now, Jelasic puts a pretty good move on here. He fakes like he's going to pitch that ball. A lot of times, well, we don't see it, but you can see that he's in there, and he gets help from number 33 that time. That's the linebacker, Mark Kopinski, whose father at one time was head football coach here at Marquette.
4th down, Marquette, and a short kick. This is going to stay. Oh, it takes a bounce, but I think it bounced off of somebody back here. We'll see where they actually down it. inside Marquette territory at the 49-yard line. So Marquette giving Thomas More excellent field position once again.
3 minutes and 13 seconds left in the half. I'll tell you, Jim Haluska, Thomas More would like to get one more score up there. They'll build up this lead as much as possible, try to demoralize them. Anytime you can score just before you go in half, it has a demoralizing effect. On the other hand now, Marquette has got to rise to the occasion. They've got to really toughen up, and they've got to expect all forms of trickery.
That would give them a big psychological lift if Marquette could hold here. So let's see what happens. One lone setback at Samuel Berto for Thomas More. Bishop looking long. He's got a man way out there. It's up and caught. It's Seidel down at right sideline, and he's inside the 10 at about the 5. And Bishop, what a strike.
Well, watch this now. Bishop is going to pump fake what it is, and they split the secondary as wide as they could. They had 2 wide receivers as wide as you could have them. It's a pump fake. What he did is he ran 10 yards, and he stopped. That's a hook pattern. They pumped that fake, and they make it look like they were going to hit that hook, to draw that halfback up, and when they did, he took off, and they threw deep.
Bill Krause was the defender back there, and
he was there. He just mistimed his jump.
So, first and goal. They're at the 4-yard line. Bishop hands off. I believe this is Gilberto. It is. And Adrian Sackowitz has a report on Tom Clark's injury.
John, an injury report from the sidelines. Tom Clark, number 34 for Marquette, came off limping a little bit a while ago. He just had the wind knocked out of him, though. He'll be back a little bit later on. Back to you, John.
All right, good to hear about Clark. So it's a 2nd and 2 as they pick up 2 yards on the play. 2nd and goal from the 2. Thomas More leading 14-0. Give it straight ahead to Gilberto, and he is snowed right down to the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's the first time they ran the trap, and they ran it down to the goal line. You can see he got absolutely nothing that time.
Anthony on the tackle, coming up from the bottom of that pile.
Well, you talk about, a psychological lift. If Marquette could stop Thomas More inside their own 5-yard line just before the half, this could be a big psychological lift for them.
Well, that pass to Seidel really added on to the yardage of Bishop. Now, with unofficially 100 yards passing tonight. On a pitch out. This is Seidel on the right side. He's not going to make it this time. As number 77, Bob Tomlinson, comes out to make the tackle on Seidel.
Well, I think we're going to see Andy Gates coming. Yeah, here he comes right now. And again, this would mean that if they can hit this field goal, put them up 17-0, you're talking about 3 scores. Because Marquette would have to score at least 2 touchdowns and get another score to tie or to beat Thomas More should the Thomas More team not be able to score anymore.
Tom Marquette's going to call timeout and let Gates take a little more time to think about this kick. With a 4th and goal from, well, they're marking it at the, about the 1-yard line. So that's where they'll have it. With 1:10 left here in the first half. A reminder again about
John,
the game.
I'm sure that they're also going to talk about the possibility of a fake. And to make sure that, they don't all go trying to block that kick and forget about the ability to fake that and score a touchdown.
Here's Scott Anthony talking it over with his head coach, Dick Basham, and some of the assistants at Marquette. A reminder about the game coming up tomorrow night in the public schools playoffs, the semifinals, Division I schools. It'll be Greendale Panthers going undefeated so far, and they're going to be looking for a win against the tough Madison West team.
They're going for it. They brought Andy Gates back off the field. They decided to go for it.
Whoa, a little psychology again by Haluska.
Well, this could be critical.
4th and goal from the 1. It's Bishop on a keeper. He's looking around that side, and is he in?
Nope.
No. Marquette has held on the 1-yard line.
Boy, this could be a big factor.
I'm going to try to take another look at that one. A player from Marquette is down, but let's look at that play again.
Well, what you see is it's a fake of the fullback trap up the middle, but Bishop outruns his blocker. He's a little bit too quick. The fake was not that good. He got outside in front of that blocker, and as a result, he didn't score.
I think that's John Quinlan, number 24, down for Marquette, being attended to by the trainers from Marquette. The Marquette fans enjoying things here in front of the Sports 36 cameras coming your way tonight live on Sports 36 from Hart Park. John Bartell and Tom Mashesky bringing you the play-by-play of the semifinal WISAA Class A football playoff game. 1 minute, 5 seconds left. Well, if Marquette is to get on the scoreboard, they have got to go 99 yards. What are the odds of something like that happening with 1:10 left?
I don't know. I'm not a betting
Minute
man.
5.
But I'd be happy with that goal line stand I'd be content just to hold on to that ball, try to run 3 consecutive plays and run that clock down. They only have 58 seconds.
They got to watch out for the safety here. Last time they've run it, they've got sacks, so they got to get it up and ahead. Good ahead, breaking run by number 43, John Casey. And he gets Marquette out of the hole that time.
It's an excellent hole that time. I don't know what happened over there. Credit good blocking or possibly a stun of some sort. Maybe they were stunning trying to get that safety.
Now they got a little bit out of the hole. They pick up 6 yards on the play, make it a 2nd and 4. 25 seconds, 24 seconds left in the first half. Peter Jelassic back at quarterback out of the I formation. This is number 42, Mark Cole with a run. He'll pick up a couple of yards, but that should be the last play of the first half unless they stop the clock. I don't think they will. Right, the clock does stop. 14 seconds. That's just to move the flags, though. 14 seconds left. 3rd down, 4 yards to go. Pickup of 2. No, they give them a first down. What am I saying? They wouldn't be moving the flags otherwise. Well, folks, this is our first game that we're calling the play-by-play on this year. Hope you enjoyed the format, the Sports 36 2-minute drill format. They're letting the clock run out. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's the end of the first half here from Hart Park in Wauwatosa, and Thomas More leading 14-0. Tom, some thoughts on the first half of play?
My biggest thought is going to be that last offensive play that Thomas More ran. Giving up what probably would have been a sure field goal by Andy Gates. He's a super extra point field goal kicker. Sustaining that and going for the apparent 6 points. They failed. That could be a big factor later on in the ball game. Also, psychologically, it's got to be a factor. I don't know if this is going to kind of take some of the momentum out of the Thomas More kids and put some of it into the Marquette kids. We don't know. John, I'm going to head downstairs. I'm going to see if I can find some people to talk to down there.
All right, Tom. A reminder about the game that's coming up tomorrow night. It'll be delayed from Saturday afternoon. Game being played at Madison Memorial Field, 90 Mansfield Stadium. It'll be Greendale versus Madison West, and we'll be bringing you the play-by-play action of that game tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on Sports 36. Greendale, an interesting story on them with Terry Shatsky, their head coach. Shatsky deciding to retire after 7 years as head coach of Greendale, looking to go out undefeated. Will he do it? You'll find out tomorrow night on 36. We'll be back with more halftime right here from Hart Park in Wauwatosa in just a moment.
What do these two men do for a living? They're always traveling, giving speeches, and conferring with executives. Consultants, you say? Government officials? Nope. These men are best-selling authors.
You can't come over. I do. You know I care about you, but that doesn't mean that... I don't care what everyone else is doing. I don't have to give you a reason. It's just my decision, okay?
If it's getting harder to say no, talk it over with your parents and write us for saying no.
We are back live from Hart Park in Wauwatosa. John Bartell with Tom Mashesky and Adrian Sakowicz with the game tonight between the Thomas More Cavaliers and the Marquette University Hilltopper High School teams, and they're playing it off in the semifinal WISAA Class A semifinal game. Winner going on to meet the winner of the Fond du Lac St. Mary Springs Marshfield Columbus game. That game going on tonight, and the game that they'll be playing will be either next Friday or Saturday. I guess the WISAA still hasn't decided where and when that game will be played, so you watch, and we expect to bring that game to you on 36. So you watch your local listings for that one, and also in the newspaper, and we'll let you know all about it. We also want to let you know that we're having a good time here tonight. Everybody else is. They got almost a full house on the Marquette side of the field, the home side that you're looking at right now. Good crowd here. Across the way, the Thomas More Cavaliers came out in force to back their team. Thomas More leading after one half of play by the score of 14-0. A quick pass play and then another pass play around the right side. One touchdown going to Chris Schmidt for 14 yards, and the other one just a couple of yards to Wade LeBecki. And so that's where it is. Thomas More leading 14-0. And right now, a couple of coaches from the Metro Conference paying us a visit, and Tom Mashesky will be interviewing them right now at halftime.
John, I've got Ron Weed, the football coach at Pius, with me, and Bill Young, the football coach at Waukesha Memorial. Guys, I'll ask a question. I'll give you both the opportunity to comment on it, get to your expertise here. First of all, the score is 14-0, Thomas More over Marquette. Are you surprised with that score at this point of the ball game?
Yeah, I am surprised, especially it could have been 21-0 right now. I thought Marquette could play them a little bit tougher. They were playing them well. Moore is doing some things I never expected them to do, Tom, to be real honest with you. It seems to me they've gone away a lot from what they've done all year. They've been slanting to the long side of the field towards the monster to screw them up. But you can't argue with success. They're winning 14-0 at halftime.
Bill, how do you feel about what's going on out there?
Well, I thought that if Marquette would have scored, they had an excellent opportunity early in the game, and they, they came up short. And then with the offensive potential that Thomas More has, and an excellent quarterback, that Bishop, he just is throwing the ball so well tonight. And once Thomas More gets ahead, they're awfully hard to come back on.
What do you think of Jim Aleska's call late in the half there? First, he lined up for a field goal that would have put him up 17-0. He decided to go for the 6 points and came up with nothing. Do you agree with that call?
Well, with a kicker like Gates, he's really, I think, a very accurate kind of good kicker. But Jim figured he'd go quarterback on a boot, and he felt, I looked at it field position, no matter if they would have scored, they're winning 14-0 or 17-0. And they would have got the ball down in a 1-yard line, and Jim hopefully was thinking maybe fumble for Marquette.
How do you feel about that, Rod? And psychologically, do you think that Thomas More is going to suffer because they came away with nothing? And do you think it's going to give Marquette maybe that boost, that shot in the arm that they need?
Well, I definitely wouldn't have gone for the field goal. I think he should have ran for it. I certainly don't want to sit here and be questioning his call. He's got an excellent quarterback, a strong kid that can go straight ahead with a good fullback. I think I would have just tried to plunge it and try to get up 21-0. No, psychologically, they're not going to be down. Psychologically, right now, Marquette's got to regroup and come back the second half, to be honest with you.
All right, if you were in that locker room right now and you were the coach, what things would you be telling your Marquette ball club? What changes would you make coming out this second half in terms of your game plan?
I think you got to stay with what got them here. I mean, they've got a pretty solid ball club. They ran on them. They're running little inside counter plays and trap plays, and that was successful. What they've got to do is not panic and come out and throw the ball, because they're not a great throwing football team. They've got to run it. We know they were hurting offensively coming in. Hope for a couple breaks and maybe get back into the game, but they're not going to do it by trying to throw the bomb.
You agree with that strategy, Bill?
Oh, yeah. Marquette has got a real good ball club, and they only lost one game all year. And to deviate from your game plan, like what Ron said, what got them here, I think would be disastrous at this point. They can't come out and start throwing the ball like crazy. They got established running. They can get one on the third, one on the four, and play for the tie and hope for the overtime. That's the way I'd have to look.
Would you stick primarily with the running game, or would you try to complement it with the passing game rather than going to a complete passing offense?
Yeah, I'd try to go play action on first downs and, do that little bit of sprint out action that Marquette does pretty well. But they can't just come out and throw the ball, because if they come up short, Timor is going to get that ball a lot in the second half, and they're going to put more points on the board.
All right, put yourself in the head of Jim Haleska now. He's got his team up 14-0. They've gotten, remember back when they beat Marquette about 4 or 5 weeks ago. What is Jim Haleska telling his kids, and what do you think he has to do this second half?
Tom, I've been trying to put myself inside of Jim Haleska's head for 15 years, and I haven't been able to do it, so I don't really know. I'll be real honest with you. What he's going to do is probably hammer on them a little bit at halftime so they don't get cocky, so they don't get complacent. He's going to probably chew them out for not scoring down there, get them fired up coming out the second half. I believe Thomas More has the ball, and try to get him on the board real quick. They know if they get one more ahead, it's going to be over. That's a ball game. And I think what he's going to do is I think he's going to go in and hammer on them, get them out and get them fired up, and they're going to come out and just beat up.
All right, Thomas More kicks off the second half. They received the first half. All right, Bill, you agree with what Ron is saying?
Oh yeah, he's not gonna lay back. They're gonna play a wide open ball, almost even more wide open the second half. He's gonna keep throwing that ball. They'll go back to the off tackle play, and I look for Timor. They're gonna be tough to beat.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Thank you, Ron. John, back to you.
Okay, Tom, thank you very much. And we are here at halftime with about 6 minutes and 40 seconds before the start of the second half. Thomas More leading it 14-0. Another reminder about the game coming up tomorrow night. Madison West against Greendale. That'll be shown tomorrow night at 8 o'clock here on Sports 36. And then tonight, I want to remind you also about the hockey game. It'll be Wisconsin against Minnesota at 11 o'clock tonight on Sports 36. They'll also be playing tomorrow night at 10:30. But another reminder, that game against between Greendale and Madison West, which will be played in the afternoon tomorrow, we'll be showing it on a tape delay at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So give you all a chance to see it, even if you're going out there. In the meantime, the stats on the first half for tonight's game. Thomas More, pretty much of an edge on there, except in the rushing category. They got 7 downs to Marquette's 5. Only 33 yards rushing, but they've got some very timely ones when they needed it. Marquette, most of their running right around the middle of the field, not much more than that. Look at the passing yardages. Thomas More, 101 yards for Tom Bishop. Marquette has not completed a pass yet tonight. Total yards, 134 for Thomas More, 45 for Marquette. 1 turnover, that an interception by Greg Baker, as Thomas More controlled the ball for only less than 1 minute, more than Marquette. But they still lead 14-0. And we'll be back with more halftime here from Hart Park in Wauwatosa after you listen to this.
Bottleneck, Long Island, October 15th, 1922, 8:30 a.m. On their way to work, Carl Sutter and Dub Pardee created the first rush hour traffic jam. 8:40 a.m. Wilbur Poole, a passing motorist, offers the 2 embattled commuters a lift to work. His act of generosity goes down in history bearing his name. The first car pool. Today's smart commuters are saving time and money by rediscovering the convenience of carpooling. Carpools ease rush hour congestion by reducing the number of cars on the road. Carpools conserve precious energy, too. So, if you're not already in a carpool, isn't it time you joined one? Come on, everybody. Poolin'.
Channel 36 is a continuing service of the Milwaukee Area Technical College, providing outstanding public television programming on WMVT Milwaukee.
Back live, John Bartell, Tom Mashusky, and Adrian Sakowitz. Halftime in the game between the Thomas More Cavaliers and the Marquette University High School Hilltoppers. We're at halftime with Thomas More leading it 14-0. And Tom, you talked to those guys, Ron Weed and Bill Young. Last time I saw them earlier this year, we were going to be doing a game out at Waukesha South High School. But that was a game, it was a kind of a rare thing, and the game was postponed. All the lightning and the rain and the wind. I'm kind of glad they didn't play that one.
Wasn't that something, John? Yeah, I got to compliment you. You were a real trooper out there. You did a heck of a job hiding in that.
What did I do?
Over there.
I was hiding in the press box and tripping and falling in the rain.
You protected all those cheerleaders from Waukesha Memorial. You know, that's important stuff.
Part of the job of a play-by-play commentator, folks, let me tell you.
I heard it's a dirty job, but it's got to be done.
This game tomorrow night that we're going to be doing in Madison tomorrow between Madison West and Greendale. Greendale, we're talking how big that is for Terry Shatsky and the entire Greendale team. First time they made it to the playoffs, first time they've been undefeated. They're rolling in with a 10-0 mark and face a very tough Madison West team, which went undefeated in the Big 8 conference this year.
You know, you talk about weather conditions. I went out to see them play Tech Tuesday night. Of course, that was in the fog. In the fog. And truthfully, you couldn't see what was going on in the football field half the time. But they do have a nice-looking ball club. They're very quick. They've got a lot of skilled ball players, quarterback, running backs, and receivers, quick people in the line. But one thing we know for sure, that any team that wins in Madison, in that conference against the Madison schools and the Beloit schools and the Janesville schools, is going to be a super ball club. And so that's going to be a tough game. Now, you talk about Terry Shotsky. This is his last season as a football coach over at Greendale. He's going to be leaving teaching, going into business. And you couldn't ask for a more Cinderella type of story for a guy with his last team to go all the way to the state.
That would be great for his team, for Terry, and for the entire community of Greendale, which will be watching that one. Here's some individual statistics in that first half. Tom Bishop had a whale of a first half, 50% on his passes, 6 out of 12, 101 yards, all this unofficially, but a big one to Mike Seidel to set up one score to Lebecky, and 2 touchdown passes included in those 6 completions. Running, they didn't do too much on there, even though that is usually their forte. They started off going to the passing game early in the year, and then they moved more to a rushing game, and here they are sticking mostly to the air tonight. Gilberto only with 12 yards on the ground, and Seidel with 23. For Marquette, Peter Jelassic. Well, it's been kind of quiet for him. He's thrown 2 passes. One has been picked off. One across the middle to open the game was incomplete. And he hasn't had much of a chance to show much there just yet. But for the rushing, they've done a little bit better. Pickard filling in for Tom Clark, who was injured, did play a little bit later on. Clark with 9 rushes, 22 yards. What is it, about 2.5 yards a rush? And Casey 5 for 10 yards, only 32 yards on the ground there. And you look at us up here in the press box here on Sports 36, trying to stay warm with this nice ventilated, air-conditioned press box up here, Tom.
No, I love it, John.
Well, one of these days they're going to build us our own traveling press box. We'll have to talk to our producer and director, Raul Galvan, about that. Both teams coming back out onto the field right now. Marquette's been out. Thomas More, which leads after one half of play, 14-0, just making their appearance on the field. And talking about soccer again, we wanted to mention, if you wanted to see that, Marquette High School football soccer team is playing against Green Bay Premontory 2 o'clock at Bavarian Field in Glendale tomorrow afternoon for the state private school state soccer tournament. So you have a chance to see that and still see our football game tomorrow night at 8 o'clock between Greendale and Madison West here on 36. So a lot of good sports going on this weekend. And I want to remind again, tonight, Minnesota at Wisconsin hockey coming up tonight. College hockey on 36 at 11 o'clock. Same 2 teams meeting again tomorrow night at 10:30 right here on your local high school and college sports station in Milwaukee, Channel 36. Well, Tom, you're talking about different strategy with Ron Weed and Bill Young, the coaches at Pius 11 and Waukesha Memorial, respectively, about what each team should do in the second half. And what are your thoughts? You got their ideas. What do you think, first of all, Dick Basham and his Marquette Hilltoppers should do?
Well, I would agree with what both Ron and Bill said. Now, these guys are very successful coaches. They've been very successful in their careers in high school. And I think that their advice is very sound. Don't panic, and you've got to go with what's got you here.
And Adrian Sackwoods right now, sorry to interrupt you, but Adrian has Dick Basham down along the sideline for a few halftime comments.
Basham, you're down 14 right now, but I'm sure you feel you're right in this ballgame.
Well, they will be receiving the kickoff, but I think it's important that we score here in the third quarter and get back in the game, so at least we're a threat to tie. Right now, we've dug ourselves a little bit of a hole. We had a nice drive to start out with. If we can come back and do that again and get it in the end zone, we're back in the game again.
We heard a halftime comment that maybe you'll play for 1 touchdown in the third quarter if you can, and then 1 in the fourth and play for a tie. Would that be your strategy now?
That's hard to say. Depending on how we got the touchdowns. If we had marched down and been moving the ball, we might try to tie it up. I'd have to make that decision at the time whether to go for 2 or 1.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
And you have the comments from Dick Basham, what his team expects to do. You look at Jim Haluska. He knows what his team wants to do in the second half, and that's win. What is he looking over? A couple of plays there on a piece of paper he's got, possibly? Or?
I think he's putting a piece of gum or something in his mouth.
Well, he's going to eat those plays. Hopefully he didn't have those on there. But anyway, both teams are out of the field. We're getting ready for the start of the second half of play. Again, the Cavaliers up 14-0. Thomas More, the state titleist, the champion in 1976 and in 1977. Marquette won the title in 1975, and in 77, on the way to that state title, Moore beat Marquette. So it's been a couple of years that Marquette's been there.
There you see the Marquette team huddled around Coach Basham. Last words of inspiration. This is it. You know, if they don't do it now,
it's the end of
the season. And now just watch on this opening kickoff, the type of hits that are going to be made, both by the receiving team and by the team that's covering. And on that first offensive series, that's going to pretty well tell what's going to be happening now the second half.
Jim Haluska has been at Thomas More how many years now? I said 10 years before, but I think that's just with Thomas More as Thomas More.
He started at Don Bosco High School, which merged with Pianoto to become Thomas More. And the first season that he coached was 1960. So this would be his 21st or 22nd season.
So overall, with the 2 schools, actually 3 schools if you want to count that, it's been that long. You know, one of the coaches that we're going to be seeing tomorrow at Madison West, Bert Hobley, is almost a legend in Wisconsin coaching himself. He's had some very excellent players along the way. 3 pros he's had, 3 players going on to the pros, Stu Voigt, Dale Hackbart, and Jim Bakken. And, well, that's not too bad to say that, hey, those kids played for me at one time. No, they're no longer kids.
It's not too bad to have them play for you is right.
He's been there, what, 31 years now?
Well, yeah, I think as soon as he got out of Wisconsin, and that's the early 50s. And, of course, right after him came Jim Haluska.
You know, his teams also, they went undefeated in the Big 8 conference. Greendale went undefeated in their conference. And one interesting thing about Madison West, their 2 non-conference games were wins over team, one from Bettendorf, Iowa, one from Escanaba, Michigan. And so it's sort of like Thomas More going out of state to play. Really, they played in-state, but against the team from Illinois.
Did they win or did they lose to those 2 non-conference?
I think they lost to both of those teams.
They lost.
They lost to
That's
both of those teams.
Okay.
But you've seen some of these teams are looking for a game, and if they got to find it somewhere, they're going to go out of state and find some good ones.
There's Andy Gates with big, warm gloves on. You can see what his specialty
I wish
is.
you'd give me those gloves. My hands are getting cold out here. So we're ready to start off the second half. Let's see what happens as Moore leading 14-0. 2 deep receivers back. You've got Cole, number 43, or John Casey, rather, 43. And I believe that's Tom Clark back there, number 34, if I'm not mistaken. It's hard to see his number from here, but I believe it is. There's the foot of Gates. And the second half is underway. A short kick. Taken by Pickert. Still on his feet, up across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Still a pretty good fielding position to start it off for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, that was an intentional kick. I think that they were dissatisfied with the type of returns that Marquette had prior to this time. So they tried to bounce that thing around, trying to prevent a good return. But yet, you get an excellent return by Pritchard over here, and they've got excellent field position to start this third quarter.
So as we start at 1st and 10, they'll have Peter Jelassic, number 9, at quarterback, as you watch that last one again. Peter Jelassic, number 9, at quarterback. His back split behind him. Number 34, Tom Clark, and no running room. He'll probably lose a yard or two as number 73, Dan Kwashinsky, coming up from the right tackle position to make the stop. Also, John Spicala, number 32, on the hit for Thomas More. Well, let's see if Marquette can get its offense on track. Looked like they were going to run it very well sometime around the end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter, but near the end of that second quarter, Thomas More rose to the occasion, just put him down. Quick pass to the outside. It's complete out here to number 18, Bill Krause. And they'll pick up a couple of yards on the play, probably about 5. Now they're going to try to loosen it up, and that's the first completion tonight for Jelassic.
Well, Baker, who's playing cornerback on that side, is lined up about 10 to 12 yards off number 18. And so they're taking advantage of that quick out. But you see tremendous reaction by the strong safety. He's the one that comes up and makes the hit. Here's Baker still coming up. So, you know, credit the strong safety with limiting that to only about 4 yards.
They picked up 7 yards on the play, making a 3rd down. 7 yards to go from the 41-yard line of Marquette. Jelassic trying to hope for a little more time from his defenders. And it's a 1st down. A good pass outside on number 31, Dan Gilbert. And a 1st down it is inside Thomas More territory.
Well, excellent call because they had the linebackers coming that time and there was no underneath coverage. And all they did was run hooks. He spotted his tight end. You can see he's wide open. There's no underneath coverage that time. The coverage comes from the secondary.
Nice catch. And again, a second completion. So, well, maybe Jelassic will change his strategy. With the place coming in from Dick Basham on the sideline. 1st and 10. Hand off to the first man. This is Clark. A big hole. He's got some room on the left side. He's got a man out to beat. He's going. He's going. Touchdown, Marquette. Now the Hilltoppers are on the board.
Woo! Well, and Coach Basham did exactly what your coaches told you to do. Don't panic and just stick with the game plan that brought you to this playoff. Watch a trap play. Once he breaks into that secondary, he cuts strongly to his left, and he puts one heck of a move on the halfback over there who misses him. I can't tell who that is. And it's just a foot race, and those linemen just can't catch up to him.
Boy, Clark had a sprained right ankle earlier this week, and here's the extra point. It is up. It is good. It is now 14-7 as Anthony connects on the extra point for Marquette.
Well, that's a big kick by number 53, Anthony, because he had missed an easy field goal. And to tell you the truth, I think their place kicking is rather suspect. And this means now the next time around, if they do score, they can either go for a tie or go for 2 to try to win this ball game.
Tom, I got him down for a 47-yard run for Clark, Tom Clark. And I'll tell you, here's a guy who didn't start the game, had a sprained ankle, made a good cut off of his right ankle, though, that time to spring clear to the outside, to that left sideline.
Well, whatever he did it well, John.
No, the Marquette fans, they're shaking the stands here. I hope it's not like the Wisconsin field when they start playing that one song for the, what's the name of that brewery? I won't even mention it. You know which one it is. But it's shaking right here now as the fans are coming alive at Hart Park in Wauwatosa. If you live in Wauwatosa, you hear a little noise, it's coming from over here where all the lights are on. So, Marquette will kick it off. Jelassic will handle the kickoff. They're down 14-7, but they're on the move now. The kickoff will come down. And that's number 48, John McShane, on the return for Thomas More. Twin brother of Paul, and very good wrestlers, very good baseball players.
Two sets of twins on that Thomas More team, the Lebeckis and the McShanes.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Cavaliers, and I don't know if this will change their strategy necessarily. They'll go out and do what they wanted to do. Is what they'll try to do. Bishop with one lone setback. Pass quick to the outside. This is Seidel. That was a big gainer before, and he looks like he is very close to the first down out here near the 50-yard line.
I think about a half a foot short, but what they did that time was go with 2 tight ends and 2 wide flankers to really stretch out the secondary with 1 lone back. Of course, with that lone back, they can run that trap, but it's nothing more than a quick hitch, a one-on-one. He cuts it to the inside where all the pursuit is coming from, but yet he still makes good yardage.
Here's the measurement. We'll see if he's got it. He's going to be, what?
Half an inch short.
18th, 1 millimeter short. You got the tape measure down on that, baby. It's out of the 47 now. Well, be very careful spotting it.
Well, now you got it down. You can, if you want to, you can try to go for the big bomb, maybe off the play action, or just pick it up. You don't get the first down as long as you got the momentum.
Moore's been very successful on that quick out pass. Quick pass to the sideline, and they picked up good yardage. They got 2 touchdowns.
They come out in that same formation, but you might look for the trap up the middle with Sammy Gilberto.
They've only tried that once or twice because the interior of the line of Marquette has done a nice job up the middle so far. So Tom Bishop, quarterback, with Gilberto behind him. And it's a first down by Bishop, who scrambles even for more yardage down to the 44-yard line of Marquette. Good call that time as Bishop on the keeper right across the middle.
Now, he's a big, strong kid. Now, you see he finds a little seam. He's going to break some arm tackles. There's a missed tackle over there.
By Anthony. And finally, he just falls down. He was tripped up by a couple of hands on the way, but they get the first down nonetheless. 44-yard line of Marquette, 1st and 10. 9:06 left in the 3rd quarter now. On the run, this is Sam Gilberto finding no running room to the outside, and he's snowed down there by number 31, Dan Gilbert.
Yeah, just tremendous reaction by this time. Now watch the defensive right end stuff that play. Now watch the right corner man come up. Number 18, I believe. Watch the hit he puts on Sammy. 31.
That's Gilbert.
A lot of people around that ball, though.
Gilbert with a little reception committee along left end, and he lost 1 yard on the play. 2nd down, 11 yards. You don't detect any change of momentum just yet, do you?
Oh, no, not right now. You know, right now it can go either way.
Hand off Gilberto, back to Bishop again. He's looking long. He's got a man out there. To Seidel, broke it up nicely.
Well, I'll tell you, Quinlan makes one big play in that secondary after another one. Now this is razzle-dazzle, gives it the fullback, pitches back to the quarterback. Your defensive back should be faked on this once in a while, but watch the reaction. Now, that's nicely executed right there.
He's got plenty of time to get it.
Watch the reaction of Quinlan. He comes over from the safety position.
Look at number 24 right there.
He's there. Bust that play up. You see 31 had been beaten that time.
Zeidel's the man they're looking for long rather than some of their other wide receivers, though.
Well, he's got a little bit more speed maybe than the wide receivers, plus he's got excellent hands.
3rd down, 11 yards to go for Thomas More on the end around. Coming around is number 82, Lebecky, and it's taken away by number 75, Tom Cleaver.
Well, John, now maybe the momentum is changed right now.
And a few kind pleasantries exchanged the two. Take another look at it, folks.
Let's see where he has the ball. He's got the ball in proper hand. Looks like he gets a helmet on the ball right there, number 31.
Gilbert again, number 31. And 75, Tom Cleaver picking it up. That big defensive tackle lumbered down that right sideline, and Marquette is moving at their own, or at Thomas Moore's 39. No room that time by number 43, John Casey, as he's hit and dropped behind the line of scrimmage at the 40. Now, I think you'd have to say the complexion of the game has changed somewhat. It's sure making for a more exciting game, at least for the Marquette fans and for viewers at home, I would think.
I'm sure there's quite a few people biting their fingernails out there right now.
Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down, 11 yards to go for the Marquette University Hilltoppers. Sitting one man wide to the left. It's number 18, Bill Crone. Everybody else split right behind the quarterback, Peter Jelassic. And off. This is Tom Clark. Clark with some good yardage, still on his feet, and getting about 5-6 yards on the play. This kid's a tough runner.
Just watch the body lean when he runs, though. He just overpowers people because he's leaning forward. Good leg drive. He's fighting for everything that he gets. I'll tell you, he is really a plus in that backfield.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down. 5 yards to go for Marquette at the 24-yard line of Thomas More. 34, rather. Not much running room that time.
Well, trap up the middle, but now they're in a situation now, 4th and 1.
Joe Pickard carried that time for Marquette.
Boy, what a big play this is.
Fans telling him to go. Will Dick Basham respond?
Well, he has to. He's on a 30-yard line. You know, if he doesn't make it, he's not giving up good field position. And this is, you know, the type of thing that he needs to do. He has to get the big play.
As they bring in the play from the sideline, they are going for it, no doubt about it. At their own, at Thomas Moore's 34-yard line. They're going to the
everything. They got him.
There's a man wide open. Complete. Touchdown, Marquette. Dan Gilbert. And look at the fancy run for the Hilltoppers. 2 big plays for Marquette. Gambling for it all on 4th and 1. Jelassic looking for Gilbert, and Gilbert is all alone. All he had to worry about was catching that ball.
That's right. It was a little bit underthrown, and of course, a lot is going through your mind as you wait for it.
Here's Anthony on the extra point attempt, and it's good, and we have a tie ball game from Hart Park, 14 all. Well, Thomas More led it, 14-0 at half. Marquette has come right back, roaring out of the gates here in the 2nd half. And right now, it is anybody's ball game. It really was anybody's ball game just before, but Thomas More has got to be a little bit rattled right now.
Well, right now, you know, just as Marquette before, and these scores came very quick, Thomas More needs to, you know, huddle themselves together, rally themselves, pick themselves up right now, and not panic. Because right now, even though they've had 2 quick scores, this is an even-up ball game. It goes any way.
A lot of time left in this ball game, folks. 6:23 left in the 3rd quarter. So don't you go anywhere. Jim Haluska doesn't look very flustered by it just yet. I bet inside it's churning a little bit, though.
I bet those wheels are really clicking right now.
Trying to think of how to counter and stop the, really the momentum, the drive that Marquette has shown. Marquette fans chanting, "We want more, we want more." With a little more enthusiasm than I'm showing, because I'm not going to lead cheers for him. 14-14, Thomas More and Marquette as Jelassic ready to kick it off to the Cavaliers. It's a kick coming down at about the 20-yard line. I believe that's Seidel, and he is met and taken down at the 31-yard line, their own 31. Oh, Marquette is pumped up right now. That's such an important thing to get that momentum going. It means so much to all teams, really. Jim Haluska calling in his play. So Bishop, they lost the last time on a fumble. And that set it up for a pass. And a touchdown for Marquette, and it's tied at 14. This is Bishop. He'll be going to the air on 1st down. Looking across the middle. It's complete. And on his feet is Lebecki. He could go. He's got it. Oh, he is tackled out from behind short. But what a play.
31, Gilbert. Oh, what a play is right.
And look at the Thomas More fans back on their feet.
Well, I tell you, this is a gutsy call. You go right in the middle of that secondary with that quick post pattern. Now watch, number 24, Quinlan comes up. He's there. He's put the hit on him, but what he doesn't do is wrap his arms. He tries to block him down.
Perfect strike to Lebecki.
And there he just spins right off it. Lebecki, if he would have stayed to the outside, I think he could have beat it. He cuts it back to the left side here. Right towards
He's going
Gilbert.
towards the man.
Yeah, well, that was a
all right, on
mistake
1st
there.
down, it's Sam Gilberto. And he's in for the touchdown. The Cavaliers coming right back. Oh, they're swapping touchdowns at Hart Park tonight. Look at the Cavalier fans. Well, it seems like it's going back and forth, and it was all Thomas Moore's first half. The start of this half was all, the first half of this quarter, rather, was all Marquette, and Thomas Moore with 2 plays and scoring. Gates with the extra point, no good. Wide. Man getting up slowly is Pickard for Marquette. It looks like he's okay, but Tom there. Anytime you miss an extra point, especially in high school ball, that means so much.
Well, here you've got a kid that's been kicking very well all year. He misses it. Marquette, which was a little bit suspect in their place, getting is 2 for 2 right now. But you are right, that is a big factor.
I saw Jim Haleska across the way. He was talking to his players. A few words of comments about where he might have been playing, Mike Morello.
Well, I think he's talking to his safety that time, the man who should have been there for that 1 touchdown that Marquette scored.
Adrian Sakowitz on the sideline with another report for us.
John, how things change in just 1 minute. The enthusiasm on the Marquette side after 2 quick touchdowns was unbelievable. Then Tom Bishop comes back and stuns the Marquette team, but they're still right in this ball game. Back up to you, John.
High-scoring game so far, 2014. A lot of time left. 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter. And here comes Clark again for Marquette. He's got another hold. He's moving up the middle. And a good return out to about the 37-yard line. Marquette getting good position on the kickoffs here. Well, Clark's the man they thought wouldn't even play too much tonight, but look at him move here. He had a sprained right ankle. He's cutting off the right ankle, cutting off the left ankle, and he said, hey, I'm here to play tonight. Finally, the hit made by number 20, Paul McShane. So Marquette with the ball, 1st and 10 from about their own 38-yard line. Peter Jelassic and on the left side, not much yardage for John Casey, as good defensive work by number 22, Sam Gilberto back there. See the man, one man go flying through there. Also helping out on that stop, as we didn't see it, Mark Kopensky coming up from his defensive back position on that hit. Our linebacker position, rather. There was the Marquette or Thomas Moore scoring drive. 2 plays, 69 yards, and the big one was that pass to Wade Lebecky on 1st down as he set it up down inside the 5-yard line. On 2nd and 10 now, the pass to the outside. The man fell down. It was way overthrown anyway, though. Intended for number 18, Bill Krause.
Well, that pattern is wide open because Baker's playing off of him. That time Baker was at least 15 yards upfield, so I think you're going to see Marquette coming back with that short pattern to the outside there.
They've been going more to the air in the second half, Tom. They only went to the air twice in the first half, had 1 intercepted.
But you know, John, they're using their run to set up their pass because this has been off the play action. It's off the fake of the run first. When they score the touchdown, they fake the run. This, they faked the run, and they should have had a completion except that the man fell down.
Now it's a 3rd and 10 for the Hilltoppers from their own 38-yard line. Anthony over the ball. Jelassic fakes it. He's bootlegging it on the left side. And right there to take him down.
77.
Ochalik.
That's the nose guard, yes, and he read that thing beautifully. He didn't get faked out, and he flowed all the way to the right side there and ran Drusilla down and out of bounds.
Getting a little harder to read some of those numbers. The field not especially muddy. It's an excellent condition, actually. But with those light blue numbers on white jerseys, they're making it awful tough for us up there.
This is, one of the few punts we've had tonight now. In fact, it's the first time I think Marquette has had to punt. Now, how well they punt, how well they cover it, and conversely, how well Thomas Moore handles it and returns is going to be a big factor.
Jelassic, the rush is put on, and Jelassic gets it off. Good kick. Coming down to the 30-yard line. And picking up a couple of yards was Zidell. Number 31, Mike Zidell.
Good job by both teams that time. Excellent punt coverage. And
Jeff Mazurchik making the hit right there on Zidell. Well, we'll see what Thomas Moore does now. Last time they had the ball, it took them only 2 plays to get in for a touchdown. Will they go right to the air again? They're doing some plays that some other coaches, Ron Weed said at halftime, he was second-guessing a little bit, but that's a coach's prerogative, isn't it? 1st and 10, Bishop at quarterback. Hand off, first man through. Good run by Zidell as he turns and twists and gets a 1st down out to almost midfield.
I think he's going to be just short, John, if they spot the ball where they have it right now. But, you know, Zadell, again, he's not the type of back that is very big and strong. He's not the quickest back, but he does things with his body very well. He's got good hands, he doesn't fumble well very often, and he cuts well.
A host of Marquette tacklers there. They're going to measure it, and he is right, like you said, Tom, but inches short again. But they're moving the ball pretty well now. Second down and inches to go for the first down.
This is WMVT, Milwaukee.
They lead it 20-14. 3:20 remaining in the third quarter of play. Hope you're enjoying this one tonight. An excellent game we're seeing so far here on Sports 36. John Bartell with Tom Mashesky and Adrian Sakowitz. More of the same, hopefully, tomorrow night. You watch it tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, Greendale against Madison West. Here's Sam Gilberto. He's got the first down, then some, across right tackle. Good blocking out on that right side for Thomas More. Credit Lebecki and Tom Naparella on that right side with some good blocks.
Yeah, they're going to get some big people on that side over there, too.
And at the side with Tomlinson and Wanta?
Wanta and Tomlinson. 470 pounds between them.
They know how to use all of it. First and 10, inside Marquette territory. And off to the first man through, Zidell. He bowls through for a couple of yards before he is brought down by number 70, Dave Hesselbein.
I see here Thomas More is trying to establish their run game now. They're having some success with it. This is going to complement their pass offense.
Hesselbein coming out. He's a pretty big kid himself, 6 foot 215. It's like adding about 30 pounds onto me. 40? Whatever. It's a second down and 6 for the Cavaliers. On a keeper, it's Bishop across, looking for the first, but I think he is going to be short. Thomas More fans enjoying it here. And they're going to be short by about a half a yard. Bring up a third down and 1. Coming down to 2 minutes left in the third quarter. The winner of this game goes on to meet the winner of the game going on tonight between Fond du Lac St. Mary Springs and Marshfield Columbus. That game being played at Marshfield Columbus. 2 setbacks. Oh, fumble! And Marquette has it! Marquette recovers the fumble. And coming up from the bottom of that pile, I believe, was number 43, John Casey. Let's take another look at that, see who was credited with a fumble recovery.
It doesn't look like the fullback ever really had that ball. You can see the fumble right out there.
Went right off his own knee.
Well, I'll tell you, with the field position that they were in right now, that's a big turnover.
That is Casey on the fumble recovery, and turnovers hurting both teams here tonight. Marquette lost to Thomas More 19-7 earlier this year in the Metro Conference regular season play. And it was an interception for a touchdown that really hurt Marquette. Pass going incomplete, intended for number 18, Bill Krause. So it'll bring up a second down and 10 for Marquette.
Now that's that quick out again. I think we're going to see Marquette go to that until Thomas More reacts. And when you do get reaction by that halfback up, I think then Marquette is going to run that sideline and goal pattern where they'll fake that quick out and then send that guy deep up the field and try to hit him deep for a touchdown.
Dick Basham talking with Krause right there on the sideline in his 10th year at Marquette. Watching on as his team has a second and 10 at their own 40-yard line. Jelassic calling signals, I formation. And pitch out to the second man. This is Casey circling the left side. He's got a little bit of running room. Picks up about 4 or 5 yards. Good run by John Casey. Well, Tom, here's a 3rd and 4. They're in their own territory. The play will be coming in with Krause, but here's that last one once again. Look at the blocking by Clark. Knocked one man down, but that was the man who also made the tackle. So here it is, 3rd and 4 with 1:20 left in the third quarter. The ball at the 46-yard line of Marquette. They're reversing it. Oh, and Thomas More was not fooled at all. O'Charlick making the hit on number 82, Chris Bilda.
Well, that's been a good play for Marquette. It's been a good play against Thomas More in the first game and earlier this game. Well, this time, O'Chalk is right there, and he really does the job of stuffing him.
They penetrated right through the blocking that time. Marquette had a couple of blocks out there, but good defensive pursuit. Jelassic will have to go back and punt here on 4th and 7. 43 seconds left in the third quarter. Not much of a rush this time. Gets off a low, wobbly one, angling off to the right. Caught. And right there to make the hit was Mike Cafaro. as Zidell caught it and had no place to go. Good coverage downfield.
If you're a Thomas More coach, well, we didn't see it, but you got to say, oh,
That's
wow.
almost like blocking a shot in basketball, an in-your-face disgrace or something like that. Here I am in your face.
Probably should have fair caught it, to eliminate that hit and potential fumble. But it was good that he did catch it, because had he not, that ball could have dribbled all the way down inside the 10-yard line very easily.
This should be the last play in the third quarter here with 14 seconds left in the third quarter. Bishop at quarterback, one lone setback. They're going to that quick out pass again. It's complete and a pickup of a couple of yards, but not many. And that's McShane, Paul McShane that time, number 20. And that is also the end of the third quarter here from Hart Park in Wauwatosa with the score, the Thomas More Cavaliers 20 and the Marquette University High School Hilltoppers 14. Tom, still anybody's ball game here. Nice tight game. We've got a 6-point difference. That missed extra point by Gates could be important as we get down to the final minutes.
Missed extra point and that missed opportunity in the first half looms very big, but we've got a lot of time now, 12 minutes, and this game can go either way. So you got to stay with your game plan. You've got to go with the things that you intended to do and not panic at any time now.
Thomas More has been able to move the ball very well. They've hurt themselves with turnovers. A couple of fumbles here tonight. That has made a big difference. And Marquette has made the most of those plays, including a long pass downfield. They've had a long run by Clark, another long pass for their other touchdown, and so here they are. And here's Bishop looking for first down territory, not going to get there. He is wrestled down and taken down quickly by, who's that, number 53? Scott Anthony. Anthony's playing all over the field.
Well, he leads that Marquette team in tackles. He's an outstanding linebacker, and he's so quick that and he's strong, too, that he has the ability to shed blockers and roam up and down that line of scrimmage making hits.
He has good size, too. The senior is 6 foot 190. All right, 2 setbacks now for Bishop. Gives it to the second man. This is Zidell. He is going to be short of the first down on a 3rd and 3 play. So it looks like Moore is going to have to punt it away also. Let's see where they mark the ball. Oh, he's short by a couple of yards here, about 2.
Well, we'll see if Marquette decides to go after it and try to block it, or if they're going to try to set up a return. They like to set up returns. They like to set up a wall to the outside and try to get that man to the outside, try to pick a big one off that punt return.
Tape to receive, number 24, John Quinlan, number 31, Dan Gilbert. And here comes the punt. Get up a line drive. It's caught. And no place to go. We got a penalty flag down. Gilbert finally taken down. Well, not even taken down. Stopped in his tracks back there. Let's see what this flag is about. Thomas More players looking like it's against Marquette. Let's watch that again and see if we can pick up what the infraction was.
We have either a clip or an illegal block, a block below the waist, one of the two.
Now they're calling a clip as he, yep, that's what it is. The officials call a clip. Kind of wish they'd put those loudspeakers so they pipe it into the PA system when the referee calls out the penalty.
As long as they don't identify the ball players.
But Tom, that's
I mean, it's okay in pro ball when these guys are being paid the salaries that they are, but I don't think that you have to identify them in college or high school when they're amateurs, really, and it just puts too much additional pressure on the kids.
They're going to mark the ball back at about the 14-yard line of Marquette, so they're going to start at 1st and 10. Deep back in their own territory. 10:35 left in the game. Marquette down 20-14. The winner goes into the state final game next week against either Marshfield Columbus or Fond du Lac St. Mary Springs. Peter Jelassic, his stats so far tonight unofficially, 4 out of 8 for 50 yards. There's a good run up the middle by number 43, John Casey. Picked up good yardage that time.
Now they're in a power I formation. This is the same thing that they were in when they hit that score. But you see an excellent hole. The defensive end over there, number 78, takes an outside rush and really creates a hole for that ball carrier.
A couple of players on the stop for Thomas More, including Paul McShane, number 20 that time. Casey out on the sideline now as they rotate the running back. Jelassic out of the I formation. The first man through, not much on that play. This was Pickard that time on the run. Picked up a couple probably. And the entire The entire press box now starting to shake as the Marquette fans are up on their feet and trying to get their team excited.
It's a big play because if they don't make it, they have to give that ball up. And Thomas More, if they can handle the punt, is assured excellent field position on their side of the 50-yard line. So it's incumbent upon Marquette to pick up this first down. They just can't turn the ball over. And when you got a kicker like Gates and Thomas More, if they can move that ball down inside the 30-yard line, that's within field goal range for them.
Let's see what they do now here with a 3rd down, 2 yards to go for that push. The ball at about the 26-yard line. Jelassic still with it. He is going to be sacked deep. And a good tackle that time by number 82, Wade Lepecki.
I think it was number 52, Malashevsky, the defensive end. And what they did is they went to one of those bread and butter plays, build out on the reverse, but it was a fake. They just tried to sucker that Thomas More defense. And again, credit Malashevsky because he held his ground. He played for that counter, that reverse, and he stopped it.
A little difficulty picking up the number. Again, apologize for that. That was Malashevsky, so Jelassic is forced to punt it away one more time. Not much of a rush again put on it. Good kick by Jelassic. Fair catch call by Zeidel. And what happens here? And finally they stop it. I don't understand the referee.
Well,
he gave us in the air. Did he have it up long?
Well, actually, I'll tell you, the high school rule, they may hit him with a penalty. Because it says that you have to break your elbow to signal for a fair catch. Now, in high school, you know, that's kind of a hairy call. You know, a lot of people know that's a fair catch. Obviously, all the Marquette kids
31.
Now, see,
he waved his arm in the air. Was that enough?
I think it is because everybody knew what he was trying to do.
He looked right back to the referee, and the ref said, okay, now what are you going to do with it?
You kind of hold your breath because there he's holding the ball. Some kid from Marquette can come along and say, well, thank you, take the ball.
Instead of him breaking his arm, they'll break his arm for him. So 1st and 10 for Thomas More. This is Gilberto to the left side. Not much running room, but a flag is down on the play.
Generally, that's kind of a holding penalty. Yes, it is against Thomas More.
Anthony on the stop there. That is the call. So they'll push him back with that holding call. And Marquette getting a break.
Thomas More is hurting himself right now in the second half. They turned the ball over on fumbles 2 times. And now this penalty is going to set them way back.
We've got 8:18 left in the the entire game here. 1st down, 25 yards to go for Thomas More. That penalty, the holding penalty, will push him back. A lot of time left in the game, though. Here comes a man around the end. A couple of players are tackled, but they weren't the guys with the ball. Coming around the right end or to the left end was Mike Morello, but he did not gain too much.
No, big play that time by the tackle, Kleber over there. He stuffed that thing in the backfield, forced him to go a little bit deeper, giving the pursuit time to catch up.
For all the running he did, he gained 1 yard, so it'll be 2nd and 24 for Thomas More. Let's see what they can come up with on this play.
Time is going to pretty soon become a factor in this ball game. Thomas More may need one more score because if they don't and Marquette does score, that could be all the time that we have.
They're not going to get much on that regard as number 77, Bob Tomlinson, helping out on the stop for the Hilltoppers. Not much running room that time for Zeidel for Thomas More. It'll bring up a 3rd down, 17. Now comes the time you go to a little more razzle-dazzle. You go to that play off the right side and hope to pick up the yardage on a pass play. A lot of options here. McShane, or make that number 80. Mike Morello coming wide right. I believe that's McShane wide left. Now they're going to the air. Bishop going to the air. He's got Gilberto, but he is knocked down, and a good tackle by Scott Anthony, number 53. Boy, that kid has good movement for a kid 190 pounds.
That's a difficult tackle to make in the open field, so again, you got to give him a lot of credit.
Let's take another look at Anthony. Watch number 53 coming in your picture on the right side. Boom, caught him right around the ankles. Gilberto did a little bit of Swan Lake right there. There's the punt now. So get it away, a good rush put on by Marquette. High punt, fair catch call this time. And this time the referee will say, okay, fair catch by John Quinlan. And again, good field position at the 31-yard line of Marquette for the Hilltoppers. And now the clock does begin to be a factor. 6 minutes and 22 seconds. Marquette's got to be able to advance the ball, get within striking distance. Here comes a play from the sideline. Dick Basham calling it. Jim Haluska calling in something to his defensive backfield along the far side. There's the time remaining, 6:22. Pete Jolosik, the quarterback. He hands off to the right side. No running room for John Casey, 43, as Sam Gilberto comes up to make the hit. Good reaction that time. Gilberto, one of the few players going both ways, only about 4 players going both ways, offense and defense for the Cavaliers. At that time, he just stepped right in and put Casey down on the turn.
Well, Marquette's taking a lot of time to get this play in. They're going to have to get this play off very fast.
Look at 22, right around the waist. That's where you got to get him. We saw what happened earlier when a Marquette player tried to make a tackle around the feet and it didn't work. Jolasic to the airwaves. He is rushed. He is spun around and sandwiched back deep. Oh, whole bunch of guys. Gilberto back there. Jamie Malashevsky, number 52. And Marquette deep in a hole now.
And they were looking for number 31, Gilbert, deep on that flag pattern. That's the same type of play action they scored their second touchdown on. But you see the linebacker coming that time and responsible for that loss.
Good pursuit on the part of the Cavaliers.
Now we got third down at about 16, and time is running now with about 5 minutes to go in the ball game. This is a big play, and Marquette's got to make a decision as to what they're going to do should they not pick up the first down.
Number 24, John Quinlan, in the flanker position. I formation. They're going to hand it off to Clark, and no running room. Or check, the number 43 is Casey.
And Sammy Gilberto again.
That's Gilberto, 3 plays in a row.
Well, I tell you, for such a small guy, they're penetrating that line of scrimmage.
That's 22. Boom.
And look at the hit.
And look at him drive him back.
You know, and a good tackler never leaves his feet. You know, he's got his feet all the time there.
Not bad.
Now again, it's back to the kicking game. How well you kick and how well you cover.
Yeah,
and how well you handle this ball.
They've had some great fullbacks here. Mark Rutkowski last year, Joe Arata a couple of years ago. And another fine one in a fine position here at Thomas More.
What a kick.
Oh, fumble. Zidell. Oh, if you call a fair catch and it hits you and you drop it.
Your fair game, he could have picked that ball up and run, and likewise he could have been leveled very easily there.
Right.
But the whistle blow, and if you have that incidental whistle, premature whistle, that automatically kills the play.
Well, here's Thomas More, and Marquette needs to get that ball back now, Tom. You look at it, 4-11, and I don't think either team has used a timeout here in the second half.
We got 4 minutes going right now in the ball game. If Thomas More can pick up 1 first down, 2 first downs, that could pretty well ice the game here. Marquette needs to stop them on this series of downs.
Here's Bishop handing off to Sam Gilberto. He did the job on defense. Look at him move on offense. Anthony on the stop, also number 44, Pickard, helping out for Marquette.
As Sammy carried that ball, I just have to remember back about 2 years ago when Thomas More was upset by Waukesha Memorial. They came into the ball game, they had a few people beat up.
Got a timeout as Casey is down for Marquette. He is down and hurt.
If I can just kind of relate that story, the score ended up 14-13, Waukesha Memorial won. Late in the game, Thomas More was driving, and it just happened to be that Sammy Gilberto, a sophomore, was brought up to play fullback that particular game. And as they were driving up the field, they were going to go for the field goal. Poor Sammy fumbled the ball, and that was the end of the ball game. And
you think you remember something like that?
I'm sure. You know, 2 years later, you know, they've been there. This is their last year now. They've never made it to the finals in the 4 years that they've been at Thomas More. They've been in the playoffs, but they haven't made it to the finals. I'm sure that this is going through their minds.
Casey looks a little groggy, but he's on his own feet, walking under his own power, and that's a good sight.
If they lose him, that'd be a big loss because he's their strong safety, their monster, man. He's involved in a lot of the defense. But again, I think that Thomas More is going to keep that ball on the ground unless they have to put it up in the air, because if they can keep that clock running and pick up a first down or two, that'll ice it.
And that clock now down to 3:46 as you see Casey being helped off. Now we're ready to start it off again. 2nd down and 6 for Thomas More. Now Bishop wants to call timeout after that break. Now, he had plenty of time to confer with Haluska. Why would he be calling a timeout here?
I think that Haluska probably called into him and said, you know, timeout. He probably had a change of mind. Maybe he saw something out there after he had called his play. And this could be a factor, you know, as the game progresses.
Tom, we want to remind everybody about the game coming up tomorrow night on Sports 36 with that game between Greendale of the Parkland Conference against Madison West on the Big 8 Conference, both undefeated in their conferences this year, meeting in a state semifinal playoff football game Saturday, and we'll show you that game in its entirety tomorrow night at 8 o'clock here on Sports 36.
John, the viewers at home now, these next two plays, second down and potentially third down, watch the line play, because everything is going to be decided in the line now. How well the offense blocks and how well the defense defeats those blocks and reacts to the ball carrier.
Now let's see what happens on a 2nd and 6 for Thomas More. He's got Gilberto and Seidel. This is Gilberto. Gilberto not getting much running room that time. He is going to be a good 3-4 yards short of the first down. So another interesting play for them. Thomas More would love to hold on to that ball, eat up some more of the clock.
Well, that's right. If they can, get a first down, they can eat up 2 minutes on that clock very easily. But this is a big play. Will they chance passing the ball? Because if it's not complete, that's going to stop the clock.
You saw Dick Basham watching intently, and he's watching that clock right there. 3:12 left in the ball game. This is Seidel. Seidel needing some yards, but he is sacked deep back. Credit Tomlinson, number 77, Bob Tomlinson, on that stop, and number 53. He's been there all night, Scott Anthony. Here's the one man coming up, Tomlinson. Anthony making the definite hit, and it brings up a 4th and 4, and they're going to punt it away.
Yeah, I tell you, the guy that really made the play was the guy who came in for Casey at strong safety. I missed his number. I think it was number 25, and I'd like to give that guy credit.
John McShane on the punt for Thomas More. Gets off a good kick this time. It's taken on the run by number 31, Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert with some good yardage up to about the 40. And Marquette with the ball. Here we are. 2:27 left in the game. And everything is going to depend on this drive now.
It looks like he catches that ball in stride, and those are dangerous because when you do that, you have a tendency to bust through that coverage, which he almost does.
Or you can be hit as soon as you get it, too.
All right, right now you got 2.5 minutes to go. If Marquette has to give up the ball, that's the ball game. All right, so they've got to score on this drive.
2:16, 2:14. The clock moving away. Jelassic going to the airways. He's got a man out there overthrown, intended for number 24, John Quinlan.
That's that quick out again. And again, like I was saying, it's open. They can go to it. You can get out of bounds and stop the clock. They can possibly move it up the field. Then you hope to get reaction out of that cornerback, fake that, and send that guy deep up the sideline and try to hit him for the bomb.
The incomplete pass also stops the clock with 2:09 left in this game. Remember, Thomas More leading it 20-14.
And John, we haven't seen any screen passes. This might be an excellent opportunity to see a screen pass.
Now they're looking. Jelassic over the middle, almost intercepted. Broken up. Who was that guy? Got number 48, John McShane, I believe, getting a paw on that one.
That was either number 48 or number 40. But again, he came flying in there, deflected that ball away. Big third down play now.
Let's let him get up and see who that is. That is 48, John McShane. Did a nice job that time. So Tom, third down, 10 yards to go. Forward play, Jelassic will have to go back. He's going back and he's down. Thomas More fans on their feet, sensing a victory here.
Okay,
but
now,
it's a
John,
fourth down. A lot of new players coming in.
Here's
what
a
does that
decision
tell
that
us?
has to be made. Now, Marquette has 3 timeouts. 14 yards is a long way to go. It looks like they're going to punt the ball, but you got to expect possibly a fake.
A fake?
Thomas More probably won't even try to handle the punt. They might just respect.
They are going to punt it.
Now let's see if they handle it. No, they don't. It's going out of bounds.
At about the 38-yard line of Thomas More with 1 minute, 36 seconds left to go. Some of the fans of Marquette booing the decision of Dick Basham, but like you pointed out, there is a possibility that they can stop the clock.
That's right. Now, Marquette, they have 3 timeouts. They can stop the clock. Thomas More can run off just a few seconds if they can stop him from getting a first down. 1 first down, that's the ball game. So this is not bad strategy. This is good strategy to give up the ball when you've got that much to go for a first down. It would have been awfully difficult. And had they given up the ball on their own 25-yard line, it's curtains.
But let's see what Thomas More can do with the ball now. 1 minute 36 left in the game. They have the ball, a 6-point lead. It's a handoff to Gilberto, left side. He's the man you want to hold on to now.
And here comes the timeouts now. That's their first timeout, if I'm not mistaken.
Minute and 30 left in the game. So,
see, okay. John, what happened? They lost 6 seconds now. All right, 6 seconds to run that play and a timeout. This will happen again. The clock will start when the ball is snapped. If they can stop them for little or no gain, call timeout again. They can end up with well over a minute, but the thing is when they get on offense, they won't have any timeouts. That's going to be a critical factor.
It's going to be fun to find out what happens. He's not along the sideline. Dick Basham talking to his quarterback, or his linebacker, I should say.
And you know what these
Scott
kids
Anthony
at Thomas More are talking about? You know, let's get off the ball, let's really make the hit. But more importantly, let's handle that ball. 2 hands on the ball, no turnovers. No turnovers. We got to keep that ball. Even if we can't get a first down, if you can use up the timeouts and punt that ball out of there and put them down in the hole, you're still in pretty good position.
Thomas Gilberto remembers that fumble from 2 years ago. Moore remembers the last 2 playoff games they've been in. Here's Bishop taking it across the center of the line for a couple of yards. Thomas More lost to Waukesha Memorial, went undefeated the last couple of seasons in the regular conference play. They come in and they take on teams like Waukesha Memorial, which they beat in the regular season. They lose to them.
Well,
they've got to be remembering that.
Yeah, John, and you know, in any given game, it can be 1 or 2 plays that can determine the outcome.
That's exactly what happens.
And that's exactly what's happened in some of those games. And in all honesty, you know, the Metro Conference is a super conference, and you've got the top 3, top 4 teams that are capable of knocking anybody else off.
Well, here we got another timeout for Marquette with 1:25 left. Only 5 seconds rolled off that time. 3rd down and 5 for Thomas More. Well, they've got to get a first down here. And if they don't, they'll run another play. Let Thomas or Marquette take it over.
They'll punt the ball.
You think they punt it away?
Sure.
Just to drive it back
deeper.
deeper.
You know, they'll stop the clock after the 3rd down if they don't pick up the first down.
Here's Bishop at quarterback for the Cavaliers. 3rd and 5. He'll keep her on the right side. He's got some yardage. He's close to the first down.
I think he might have
close. Let's see where they spot the ball. They'll mark this forward progress a little bit back.
He does not have it. Oh, this is close.
They'll stop the clock at 1:17. Here's Bishop again. Looking for the room. Look at that block.
He's going to be about maybe about 4 to 5 inches short. And again, it's a judgment call as to how they spotted the ball. All right, you used to say that's where the ball is. All right, now Thomas More has to make a decision.
Oh, and it is just short. Just short of the first down. It'll bring up a 4th and inches.
All right, now once the chains are back on the sideline over there, the clock will start. It'll be interesting to see if Thomas More will let the clock run down the full 25 seconds.
They brought their punter in.
And take a 5-yard penalty.
Eat up some more time.
Or, well, here now, the clock is starting. Let's see what happens over here.
All right, number 48, John McShane is in.
Oh, Haleska saying, don't snap it, don't snap it. Don't snap it.
It is down there. The clock is running.
This will run down to about 40-some seconds.
It's 1 minute and 4. Well, now they're going to snap it. So McShane gets up a good spiraling punt. Gilbert will receive, number 31. He's going to the left sideline. He's got to get out of bounds to stop it.
About the 12-yard line,
They'll
John.
stop it anyways. They have to come back and set it, but they are deep. Marquette is going to have to go to the airwaves or try some real fancy razzle-dazzle, because they have got a long way to go.
If we're right, they have 1 timeout. They've got 88 yards to go, and they have 50 seconds to do it. And once that chain is set, they started the clock. There it goes.
That's it, about the 12-yard line. 1st and 10, 47 seconds. 46, the clock is running. Jelassic to the air. This time to the right side.
Oh,
He's got to get out of bounds. He didn't get out of bounds. He's over on the sideline, but the clock will run. There it goes now. They'll let it go.
Marquette has just used their last timeout.
And the ball up around the 21-yard line of Marquette. They've got to go 79 yards for the touchdown and to get the score. A field goal won't work. That won't be enough. It's Dick Basham. He looks very calm out here. Again, outward exterior appearances are very deceptive. Okay, Tom, you're the coach here. 2nd and 10 with 35 seconds left.
Strong throw left, 75 flat. He's not there, throw it away, come back and try something else.
The fly pattern, they're going deep. They're going deep. Now, Thomas More is going to loosen up their secondary. And they should be allowing Marquette to get anything short, because anything short is not going to score a touchdown. And the clock is going to start as soon as the chains are set up. They should pick up a first down. All right, they don't want to give up the long score. It appears on a fly pattern that they're going for everything right now.
Here, I was going to ask
35 seconds, you almost have to whisper something like that.
I was going to ask you, what would you do? We heard it from the coach what they're going to do.
He knows more than I do.
That's the way to do it. So it is a 2nd and 10. They got to mark it 2nd and none on that scoreboard. So if we show you the scoreboard at all, I think this one of the numbers gives you the burned out or something. 35 seconds left. Thomas More leads by 6. Marquette with the ball. Let's see what they do now. Jelassic, not much time. His arm was going forward. His arm was going forward as he was hit from behind, taken down. Thomas More thought they had it. Number 52, Jamie Malashevsky. But his arm was going forward for the pass, so it is not ruled a fumble.
It definitely was a pass, and since it was an incomplete pass over here, you see a good rush by Ochalik again.
He's the guy that put the hit on him.
Yeah, you can see his arm just started to come forward as that hit was made. Awfully close, but it was a correct call.
All right, 3rd down, 10 yards to go still from the 21. Or it's actually 3rd and 1, excuse me. 3rd and 1. Going to the outside. Man has caught it. No, he didn't. Kraus had it, dropped it. It is 4th and inches, but still, so long to go. They've got to go for it. No,
they have
no
to.
doubt about it. That's about the dumbest thing I've said. Don't know if you could quite pick that up.
All right, they're going to have to go for the 1st down. The thing is, Thomas More still has to play for the pass. Let him run, let him get the 1st down, because with less than 26 seconds,
you can run a couple of plays here.
They can't stop the clock after those chains are set.
No more timeouts left for the Hilltoppers. As Anthony brings them to the line, Jelassic warming up those hands a little bit. Going to be here one more time. Passes out here. There's a man open. Kraus catches it. He catches it up near midfield. Tackled by number 20, McShane, Paul McShane. Clock is stopped as they move the sticks. They're moving them kind of slow right now. That'll benefit Marquette. Give them a chance to set up with 20 seconds left in this game. Marquette has a shot. They're a lot closer now. Jelassic getting his team set. The clock will start now. 19 seconds, 18 seconds. They just want to get it outside. They complete it to Kraus. Out of bounds they go. They'll give a little more time to set up the next play again. But here's the play that did it for him to get him some yardage. The pass from Jelassic.
That's the call with only inches to go on 4th down. Now that's a heck of an adjustment by the receiver. If you're looking over one shoulder, have to adjust back, look over the other shoulder, because you lose sight of the ball, but sometimes you lose some of your equilibrium too. That was a heck of an effort by Gilbert.
16 seconds left in the season for one of these teams. Which one will it be? Marquette down by 6. Jelassic going to the air. He's going deep. The only one back there is Thomas More. Intercepted. And that's going to do it. 10 seconds. 9. He could go a long way yet. Finally run out of bounds around the 45-yard line. And the Thomas More fans rejoice across the field.
Hey, Thomas More is number 1.
You heard one of the fans leaning in there. 5 seconds left and the season is over for Marquette unless a miracle occurs. Both Catholic schools.
That's the end of the game, John.
They can still expect it, but no, the time runs out. And look at the Thomas More players. They're going to the finals of the WISAA against the winner of either the Marshfield Columbus or Fond du Lac St. Mary Springs game.
John, I think I'm going to head down to the field and see if I can get Coach Haleska and some of the ball players.
All right. Big time. Look at those guys. Haleska, happy he's going there. State champs, 1976, 77, and now they have a shot at the title here in 1981. Thomas Shesky making his way down through the crowd now, trying to get a hold of somebody from Thomas More before they all clear out, but it's going to be a while. The fans are staying in the stands. You think they might be mobbing them quite a bit more. There's Jim Haleska going over to congratulate his assistants across the far side. And what a game this was tonight. It was anybody's game down to the last 10 seconds there. But Jelasic's last pass went up. It was intercepted by the Cavaliers, and that sealed Thomas More or Marquette's fate. And that ended the season for the Hilltoppers. Still an excellent season that they had. I want to remind you about the phone number that we would like you to call, as we always do here on Sports 36, 799-1102. Call that number before you hang it up for the night. 799-1102. That'll let us know that you are watching tonight's game. So if you get a busy signal, just call back. That means that everybody in Milwaukee's calling in right now. 799-1102. And that line will be there all night long. So if it's busy, call up while you're watching the Wisconsin-Minnesota hockey game, which starts at 11 o'clock tonight in about hour and a half from right now here on Sports 36. And somewhere down there is Tom Mashesky. He is still trying to collar a couple of players and the coach. We'll get him down here yet. There's Dick Basham. What a season they had yet in the Metro Conference. They only had one loss. That to Thomas More. It's 19-7 earlier this year. They finished 6-1 in the Metro Conference. Thomas More 7-0. But here in the playoffs, in the postseason play, it was Thomas More showing why they are the #1 rated team in the state of Wisconsin, winning tonight by the score of 20-14. I also want to remind you of that. Wait a second. We think we've got Adrian Sakowitz with the quarterback Tom Bishop right now on the field, so let's turn it over to Adrian.
With Thomas More, quarterback Tom Bishop won right down to the wire. Tom, how about it?
Well, it was a very close game, I thought. Our offense played exceptionally well. Our offensive blocking was tremendous, both on passing and blocking. Our pass protection was perfect. I had enough time to throw the ball all day. Our ends seemed to get open, and we were successful in throwing the ball.
Was there a key to the game in your mind?
I thought our defense played exceptionally well. They were a big part in our team. If it wasn't for the defense, I don't think we would have won.
Tom Mashesky, how about a question?
Yeah, I've got a question. 3 years ago, your brother was a senior, came in here. They were upset by Memorial after having beaten Memorial in the regular season. The same thing happened last year. Any thoughts about the fact that you had beaten Marquette earlier this year and you were playing them in the playoffs? Well, I thought the second time around, I thought it was going to be a very close game because they had Cole coming back, and I thought he was a big help to Marquette. But it was a very close game, even though he was playing, and plus our offense and defense played exceptionally well. Chances are you might play again, team that you played earlier this year in the finals next week. How do you feel about that? Well, I'd rather play Marshfield Columbus because I think we know about them, and I think we play a lot better because our team played really well against them the first time. All right, Tom, thanks a lot. I'm going to talk to some of your other ball players. Okay. Congratulations. Thanks. Sammy Gilberto, number 22, the fullback for Thomas More. Sammy, any thoughts in that last series when you were carrying the ball back to when you were a sophomore?
Well, I thought, well, I better not fumble this time. Coach Law was going to be pretty mad at me, so I hung on to the ball as good as I could, and I just got tackled, and that was about it. You know, I hung on. That's all I was concerned of.
Sammy, did you think you could run against this big Marquette line?
Well, we knew we could throw, but running was a little difficult, but then after a while, we got our passing game, and then we start using our running game, so we kind of mixed it up, so I thought we did pretty decent on that.
Defensively, you were doing a lot of stunning in there. You made a lot of big plays in that fourth quarter. Had you planned to stunt as much as you did, or did you make any adjustments at halftime and decide to stunt more?
No, we practiced that all week. There was a linebacker where I curl around the nose guard, and he goes the opposite way. We practiced that all week. We figured our other blitzes weren't working, so this one turned out to be the best.
Sammy, how do you feel emotionally?
I feel great.
You look like you got a tear or two in your eye.
Oh, I feel great about this one. This is my third time here, and we finally got it.
Adrian, do you have any questions?
Sure. Greg O'Chalik in here, and Sam. Greg, what was the difference between this game and the first time you played him?
I guess it would be intensity. We knew that we didn't play to our potential last game. We had a lot of trouble with, psych. We came into this game really ready. It was all week, hard practice, mentally prepared. And the coaching behind us, the coaching was just superb. It's the best around. And when you got that kind of coaching directing your athletes, who we happen to have quite a few of, it's tough. It's real tough for a team to stay with you.
They scored 2 quick touchdowns, came right back in the ball game. What went through your minds?
A little bit of fear. You get to thinking, well, you don't want to end up going back like the last 2 years, but we got it together, and the fear subsided.
Let me ask you one question. When that fear came into your mind, was there anybody or anything on the field that rallied you guys back together again?
I get real angry like that when I get angry that people can do that. It's personally me anger. And I take that anger out wherever I can find a clean shot.
So you rallied yourself is what you're saying. Sammy, what about you? Anybody rally you?
I get the guys going a lot of times, a good hit and everything else. So I think all of us just got together, hold our hands, and said we can do it this time. So I think it was everybody put their mind together and their souls, and we really deep down.
Okay, guys, congratulations. I want to get your coach in here.
Good luck.
All right. Jim, congratulations. All right, a lot of things happened in that second half. At any point, did you have any second thoughts about what you did before the end of the first half when you just aimed?
I knew we were on a board, and I said to myself, it was a bad angle at the time, and I thought we could punch it through there. And when we only had 14, I knew, things would look bad if they scored. But pass to Lebecki just turned the momentum right around, in our favor.
Did you feel that you did what you felt you could do coming into the ball game in terms of your game plan?
We thought we could get some different type of passes, and a couple of them opened up for us. Defensively, I thought our kids just played super ball and played the defense just the way Andy, Stephan, and Fieber designed them.
You talk about what happened the last 2 years with your ball club, coming in, having beaten a team that you beat earlier in the year, losing in the playoffs, or did you treat this as a brand new ball game?
Brand new year, Tom. We forgot about the last 2 years, and this is a brand new year.
Well, I have one more question coming into the season. You said, hey, I don't know about this year, you know, we're going to be kind of down. What are your feelings about this year now?
Well, I was jumping for joy, Tom, because I thought this bunch of kids just played super football all year, and they surprised me, and it's been a pleasure coaching them.
All right, one other thing, Coach. You've been coaching now for 22 years. You've got the same assistants. Mention their names.
I mentioned it before, Ron Fieber and Andy Stephan.
I know you mentioned them, but they never showed that interview. Congratulations,
Thanks,
Coach.
Tom. Thank you.
All right. Back.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. That about does it for tonight. Remember, before you leave us tonight, give us a call. That number is 799-1102. The call will let us know you were part of our program on Sports 36, 799-1102. And stay tuned to Channel 36 for exclusive state football playoff action tomorrow night. Another semifinal playoff game, the WIAA Division I pair-off between the Madison West Regents and the Greendale Panthers. That game will be played at Madison at 1 o'clock. We'll have it for you at 8 o'clock tomorrow night right here on Sports 36. And don't forget, next week we'll be bringing you coverage of 2 state championship games from sites yet to be announced, so watch the papers for dates and times. Final score in this game again tonight from Hart Park was Thomas More 20, Marquette 14. For statistician Terry Peterson, Tom Mashesky, and Adrian Sakowitz, and our entire Sports 36 crew, this has been John Bartell. Thanks for joining us. Good night.